Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the party. How you doing? Gonna be good for the soul. Yes, 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 it will. Snez rocks. Okay, where did I leave off? Arisetti, trying is all you gotta do. See ya in a bit. Alrighty, yes, you can do it. For a faster finish. Let me show on. Have him watch that show and clean your house. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep up as much as I can with chat, but I'm gonna be spending most of my effort or most of my attention on Le Pun. And again, you guys can ask questions if you'd like. Best way to do it is to redeem a streamcast question in the Digiscrap. That's the little channel points at the bottom. If that doesn't work out for you, you can try to message Dragon, like either send a message in chat with Dragon Computer or myself referenced in there, and we should get a highlight message of it, so we should be able to see it. I'm gonna go ahead and undo the chat here so we can talk to Pun.
That's some weird things going on.
Hello there, PunHitWonder.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin' going, Colonels? Dude, welcome to the party, man. PunHitWonder, everybody, is an amazing streamer. I'm gonna do a quick little intro for you if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm just gonna eat my steak.
ThePunHitWonder is an amazing streamer who we're gonna learn more about how he got his start, but he's an amazing streamer who employs lots of puns and amazing and incredible humor, very odd and hilarious perspectives, as well as voice acting and very interesting gameplay that is always very appealing and engaging. He plays Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. The newest game you played is the prequel to that, I believe it is Ace Attorney, Miles Edgeworth cases, I believe.
So no.
Okay.
So let me. So Phoenix Wright. The first three games are in the HD trilogy. They came out on Game Boy, something very old like that. And then so the Miles Edgeworth one is a spin-off. So it's technically canon. It's the fourth game in the series. So it's a weird spin-off game. It's very weird to describe in a way. Hey Goku. So I want to make sure I had that correct. I can always go into that more once you're done your intro.
Okay, yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely, no. Correct me if I ever get anything wrong or if I'm off base.
Right back at you.
But yeah, I think I believe I met you in a. I believe I met you in. Did I meet you through another streamer or did I meet you through Overwatch?
Yes. So we met each other through Overwatch, but it was through an Overwatch streamer. If you remember Pixel Panda, I don't.
Yes. Yeah.
But we met through Pixel. I remember I randomly was like this is back when I first started streaming. I started streaming in like mid-October of 2018. I finally got a computer set up. I finally got everything going. I was like, okay, and I had a good little base to help me out. But I was like, I'm gonna randomly search an Overwatch stream, and so I found Pixel Panda. She was playing Mercy. I was like, oh, I have a good friend that plays Mercy. I kind of want to know more about Mercy, how she plays, because I was never really a Mercy player. I know I am not. I can't. She moves too fast. It's just too high pace for me. And so I saw Pixel Panda playing Mercy. So I watched her for a little bit, gave her a follow, and there was one night that you guys were playing together, and like you were playing Junkrat, and this is this was at the time where you were mainly just an Overwatch streamer, which is that was your wheelhouse. It was good. And so I was like, dude, this guy's really awesome. I want to check him out. So I drop you a follow, and then slowly but surely, I think I joined a couple of your collab days. Um, like I think I remember doing a couple of your collab days, and then I just became a part of the hideout, and we kind of just kept going from there.
Yeah, man. I think one of the first things I ever saw from you was oh, that's weird. I think one of the first things I ever saw from you was Ace Attorney, and it was actually really amazing. It was you doing your various impressions, you going through and just having the time of your life, and it was really endearing, and I got a lot more engaged with it than I probably I have with most other streamers. It just it really drew me in, and I just wanted to watch more. I wanted to see how every case ended.
I mean, it just and like there's not a whole lot of gameplay when it comes to Phoenix, right? It's a visual novel in a sense, but you have to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together and solve it. If you don't solve it, you game over, and you have to go back to the beginning of whatever day that is, or investigations, or trial. So like, there's not a whole lot of gameplay involved in the series, which I mean, I don't mind it because it's easy to stream that because like you can watch chat It's not like you have to pay attention to the game, but it's not like you have to. There's a whole lot of buttons you have to press. There's one button, well, one or two buttons at most. So it makes it kind of easy to kind of focus on chat and the game at the same time, as well as whatever voices you're trying to have, because there's so many so many characters in the game,
Right.
trying to get them all right, and so. But I'm glad you came in. I'm glad you enjoyed that. No, I mean, I enjoyed you for how I still enjoy you for how positive you are. But like that was a big thing that got me. Because I mean what I've seen of the Overwatch community, it can be relatively toxic, especially if you don't play a hero right, quote unquote, or you don't play the meta or whatever. But like you just came in, you're like, let's have fun. Like
Yeah, I
screw all
think
them. You
yeah,
know.
that was basically like our I don't know, our motto, our goal, whatever we want to say, and with this family, with this group, was to alleviate that toxicity. But I want to talk more about you. And first things first, I think we've had this question come up a few times when in the preview where I was eating chickens, making chicken stuff. One of the questions I got asked a lot, and I would like to know this too. Where did the name come from? Do you have anything specific, like a specific story behind it, or is it just you really like puns and you wanted to make a pun with the word pun? Like, tell me more about that.
All right, here. So this is a pretty good story. So I used to work in the restaurant business for about 8.5 years. And I worked a kitchen job when I was in college.
Hmm.
And me and my buddies on the line, we'd be a busy Friday night. We had a full house. We need to find ways to relax, to kind of stress relieve in the middle of the shift, because that can be very stressful. It can be a very heated situation, pun intended, because you're getting hot in the kitchen. Sorry, that was terrible.
No, it
Anyways,
wasn't. Perfect.
so I started, for some reason, I just started dropping puns out of nowhere. I'd never really done it before. It was not really my sense of humor growing up, but like for some reason, just the way my boys and I clicked back then, which I still talk to them to this day. Like we're still pretty close. We still play games every now and again. But the way we just clicked and the way we worked, it just I was able to drop puns. I'd get a couple groans, a couple chuckles, whether it's from the guys in the kitchen, or the wait staff, or the bartenders, and it kind of helped relieve the tension a little bit. It helps, it's just you were able to cut the tension with a knife, and that's not what you want in the kitchen, because that can get very, it can get. Thank you. Um, it it can be very bad if it goes wrong. So the way to the easier the time is on a busy Friday night or busy Saturday night, the better it's going to be, the more productive, and obviously the better the food, in my opinion, is going to be. So I just started dropping puns, and then I got a couple of other guys in the kitchen to do it, and the wait staff, the whole restaurant got it at some point. So I realized that it was contagious, and it was whether they were laughing, whether they were groaning, whether they roll their eyes at me or throw a pot at me, it just I got a reaction. Whether but it was always relatively positive. No one ever like, I'm gonna kick your ass. And not I mean it was sarcastic if they were like, oh, I'm gonna kick your ass for that joke. Like that was
Right.
terrible. It was never like, I'm actually gonna kick your ass. So like so later on I eventually moved back home to Massachusetts. I wasn't working in the restaurant business anymore, but I still kept using puns. But the thing is I kept using them on the same friends, the same family, and I was kind of not very well liked for a short period of time.
Hmm.
And so I was like, well, let me bring this online to like my gaming friends. And so this is crazy. So the way I came up with the name, the Pun Hit Wonder, is
Yeah.
I came up with 16 different names involving the word pun. It's all pun and games, the Punisher. Um, I don't remember all of them. It's all pun to me. Let's just have pun. Um, and like so, I made like an NCAA like March Madness bracket with 16 names involving the word pun. I randomly
Nice.
selected, randomly number generated, and it just happened that the Pundit Wonder won. There were some names that it was really close. I had to flip a coin, or I'd like ask a friend. There's some times I was like, all right, this name's obviously better, but the Pundit Wonder just worked. It's just the one that stuck out to me the most, and it won that bracket. It won the tournament for me. So I started using it. I got some good, it just kind of works for me. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. And then when I started streaming, it kind of works, and
Nice.
I don't drop as many puns, thankfully. Um, like especially around family and friends, they don't hate me as much. I still drop and they're like, "Oh, come on." I'm like, oh, "Really?" But I mean, some people are some people know kind of what I do here, so they're like, "Okay, kind of, you're making it work. You're making it positive. You're doing good things with it. It's not just some type of weird, kink you have."
Right. I got you. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it really does work for you, and you've told me before that you've started researching like the history of puns and various other things so you can be more knowledgeable on it, but also to sort of play up the pun university because I really think that name. Along with you and your personality, and the fact that you do play games like Ace Attorney and Animal Crossing,
And
uh,
Borderlands,
and
I
Borderlands.
realize
Well,
that has a lot of
oh yeah, Borderlands is chock full of puns. It is packed to the brim with puns. Um, it is fantastic, and I think that, but with those and the fact that you're like learning about it, I think you're putting in a lot of effort. But what have you? What are some of the reasons why you've like gone into the background of puns and like what are some of the things you've learned? If you have any of those that you'd like to
So
share.
one random fun fact that I have that I've learned is that every single year there is a pun competition, and they're known as the Pun Master. They have literal competitions where people come together and make puns, wordplay, and dad jokes, and they have competitions with that involved. It is crazy. So I watched a YouTube video of like the 2017 like championship match. It's one on one, and you just work off the other person, and basically just it's a rap battle with puns. It's insane, and I was like, I don't like. I realized how much of a novice I am in this world of puns. And I used to be called the Punitentiary when I first started streaming,
Nice.
because like I really wanted to go in the law enforcement. I enjoyed it, but I was like, you know what? That's not a very positive feeling. That's a very weird, like locked in feeling. No pun intended. Uh,
Mm.
so and I was like, I want to change it up a bit, and I was like, you know, instead of the Punitentiary, like, why don't I just try Pun University? Because like people always ask me to make a pun for them. I'm like, well, instead of me just making puns all the time, like, why don't I teach people and why don't I help people get into this world? Because there's so much to do with puns. There's so many options you can have with them, and it's weird because it works very well with the English language, and it doesn't work well with other languages in a way. There are some other languages you can use like you can work puns into, but it's still not as effective.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like you can go back and you can be like, hey, you know, this is a really cool idea. It's a really cool situation of, you know, like use a word not in the context it's supposed to be used, whether it's for humor, whether it's for, you know, there's so many different ways to use it as well. And who doesn't like a good pun? You always get a weird chuckle or a groan. And they say laughter is the best medicine. And honestly, like it's a good way to relieve stress or like to, you know, relieve tension in a situation. At least from what I've noticed, or what I've used them, it is really helpful in the situations, depending if you use them correctly and you don't use them too much. You know, you never want to oversaturate the market of puns because then they're not as effective.
Right. I mean, it's like any kind of economy. The more of something you have, the less scarce it is, and the more the less value it has.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Someone just said a whole new universe. Um, I Puniverse. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I gotta say, like, I don't really know the difference between a pun and a dad joke. Do you know what? Like, is there
So
a actual
it's
definition?
weird. It's so a pun is legitimately a using one word to mean another, or to use a word out of context.
Right.
Let me see if I can try to think of like an example. Um, I can pull up my research here. But like a dad joke doesn't really have that. It's just a really corny joke. So a dad joke is kind of more simple in the way it's just a really corny joke. It's a really, really bad joke. A pun has more wordplay, has more. You have to really think about it. Um, so let me pull up my research because I have the actual definitions as best I can find them. There's not a whole lot of research when it comes to puns and whatnot, but let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. On the side, we actually have a couple people asking, would you be interested in doing uh, a pun battle versus Papa Zillion?
I mean, I'm interested.
It'd be good
I'm not gonna
practice.
say no. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. It's just um, I have to look more into how they're actually structured, how they're actually made, because that's a whole different ball. That's a whole different ball game in and of itself. See if I can look. All right, um, so a pun is a form of wordplay that
Yeah.
creates humor through the use of a word or series of words that sound the same but that have two or more possible meanings.
So like double
They usually,
entendres.
yes.
Okay.
So they usually are made up of homophones, which words spelled the same but have a different meaning.
All right.
And then
Homophone,
so
right? Is what you said.
yeah,
Homophone.
homophone.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's words that sound the same and sometimes spelled the same but have different meanings.
Right.
Like see,
Like
trying to think.
there and there and there.
But yeah. So like
But
rain and like red and red.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Like what's black and white and red all over? It's a newspaper because red versus the color red. People think,
yeah.
Got it.
So
That's cool.
puns have wordplay in them. Dad jokes are anti-humor, or the deliberate denial of a clever punchline. So what I have for a definition of a dad joke is a wholesome joke of the type said to be told by fathers with the punchline that's often as obvious or predictable. It can be a pun or play on words, but it's usually corny or unfunny. So like you're kind of taking away the actual funniness of the joke.
So
That's kind of the difference. So like a pun, a pun you normally kind of slip through the cracks, and you kind of the best time a pun like when a pun is most effective is when somebody hears it, they take a second, and then they understand what you just said, and they're like, "Oh shit, you slipped that by me." Uh, a dad joke is just a really bad, unfunny joke that has a terrible punch. That's kind of where that's in.
I feel like an obvious pun could be considered a dad joke just because, like you said, it's typically like obvious where everyone goes,
Yeah, that's kind of what it is in a way.
I guess.
That's kind of at the end of the day what you want out of that. You know,
So
and I mean, I have some dad jokes every now and again, but I'm more one guy. But I kind of want. I didn't know the difference either. I didn't know if there was a difference, but I realized there is a difference at the end of the day, and it makes for a fun time.
yeah, no, it definitely does, and I feel like if you have a good sense of humor, or if you just notice those little things that could be jokes, I feel like that. Like you said earlier, knowing when to strike is the most important. Like if you just did one and another one appears, like a a young or a inexperienced person may just make pun after pun after pun, and then eventually people are like, okay,
Yeah.
stop. But
See,
but yeah,
when it comes to that though, like there's been a good couple times where if you have a string of 2, 3, 4 puns in a row, drop them, but
that's
they
a
have to
good point.
be pertinent to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have one. I streamed with Salty Caitlin. We were doing a Pokemon stream, and I had a string of 4 egg puns in a row. They worked. It works. But like I said, you don't want to turn a pun into a dad joke where the joke gets it becomes overkill. You want to find that middle ground, and you find the balance of not enough puns and too many puns. But it's like that with everything too. It's not just puns. That's life. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, live imitating art. But we got a couple of, we're getting a lot of puns in chat now.
Hey, no, and see, that's what I want. Like, especially my chat, whether it's your chat, whether it's Desbuzz, Fel, like, if I'm around, drop puns. I always like to learn new puns. I always like to see, because I mean, I'm only one dude. I only have a big enough, opportunity to really listen to a pun. So, like, the more puns I can become accustomed to, the more I can become better. And that's kind of what I want to have when it comes to Pun University. And eventually, like a Punnet Point presentation, like how you have your events. I want to make some events in time to where, like, I have me just sitting in front of a PowerPoint and going over what a pun is, what a dad joke is,
Mm.
the history of puns and dad jokes, and how they use in literature, and how they use today. And there are some health benefits, believe it or not,
That's really
when
cool.
it comes to using this type of humor.
Uh-huh.
And then also, I also want to be able to, I also want to have a presentation about good times to use them, bad time to use them, the effective way to use puns.
I really like that. That really does play into
Really,
Pun University.
there are some there are some scientific research on the history of wordplay and how it's effective and how it's used. But like, I just feel like there's more to it. And I mean, it's not really, no one's throwing money at this budget, but like, it's just fun. And there's so much to do when it comes to this style of humor. And people, people grow and people grudge at it, but like, I feel like there's more to it in a way, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that would make for some really good events, like little Punt what was it, pun something notes, or something pun notes or something like that.
Punter
But
point, punter
punter
point
point,
presentation.
that's it, beautiful. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, I could totally see you like standing up, walking over to a little board. But yeah, that's gonna be really cool. I'm looking forward to all the things that you're gonna be adding over the time on your channel. That's gonna be really cool.
I'm gonna try my best. Who knows what's gonna happen.
Oh man, I can see it coming, man. I can see it. Um, let's. I want to talk about your. You were talked about being in the kitchen. You talked about working in a or cooking for how long was it? Was it 8 years? Is that?
So I worked in the restaurant business myself for about 8.5 years. The first year was dishwashing. I was like 16, but since then I've always been cooking. But I'm a fourth generation restaurant worker. My great grandmother did it. My grandmother did it. I have many aunts and uncles who are in the business. My mom did it. So like I've always been around the restaurant and the food industry business. So it's kind of in my blood. I was cooking at a young age. I've always been able to make pancakes and breakfast, and so I was like, hey, this is a good time. Um, this is a good time. Like it's always good to have food. Everyone enjoys food. People may not like the same
I
foods, but people always enjoy food. It's always a good conversation starter, topic of conversation, and people are always going to need food. So it's
yeah
always good to have under your belt. At least to have a decent understanding of how to cook basic foods, whether it's eggs, you can cook toast, mac and cheese, like basic pasta dishes. I mean, I have enough experience. I have some relatively experienced recipes I can make, but like it's not people are always going to need food, and it's always a good conversation topic to have. So
yeah.
it's always good to have under your belt of having. Hi, Lena. Welcome in. Sorry.
And also,
It's good to have that type of experience under your belt.
it
And
also
hey,
it depends on what
what?
kind of food. What do you want to put under your
Yeah.
belt? Sorry, ignore me.
Nice. No, that was good. And I mean, especially like what I've experienced, and when it comes to and when it comes to like dating and whatnot, like girls or guys or whoever you're looking for, they're always going to enjoy a good meal. It's a good way to get to know a person too. Is us, having dinner you just made, talking to someone new.
Yeah,
So
the
that's the main way I use it nowadays.
that is a great not necessarily first date, but that's a great date is cooking for someone and actually having them try, like
Yep.
impressing them with your skills.
Uh huh.
And I mean, like, this is a side note for the guys out there. A guy who can cook, that's girl,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
I,
pretty sexy, I guess. I mean, throw that out there.
I've used it to my benefit. So if you can get a couple recipes under your belt, you can make it work.
Definitely. But so explain to me a little bit more about your history. So you started. So I was a year in a sports bar. I started with cooking or cleaning dishes, and moved to
Yeah.
inventory, then moved to fry cook, then moved to the range,
Mm-hmm.
and even ended up as expo.
Mm. The expo position, man. That's the one position I never enjoyed doing. Like I don't mind doing it, but just I'm not good when it comes to presentation on a plate. Um so let me explain to chat. So an expo or expediter, that's the last person in the kitchen that sees the food before it gets sent out. So you're the one that's bringing all the food together to put on the plate to present it to the customer or before the waitress gets it. So you're kind of the captain of the ship.
Right.
You're kind of letting all the kitchen members know what they need to do in order to get the food out to the proper to the customers in a relative an effective and timely manner. Um so I didn't never actually knew you were in the restaurant business. That's actually really cool. So like I said, I grew up around it with my aunts, uncles, and mom. Being a part of the restaurant business. I'd always been around it. I've always gone to caterings when I was young, and I'd always walk around and help bring dishes in when I was a kid. Just shits and giggles type deal.
Right.
But then I started as a dishwasher. I did that for about a year. Then I became a breakfast cook on the weekends. And then when I went down to college, I took about a year off, and then I found a restaurant right near campus. It was a sports bar. They figured out I knew how to cook, threw me the grill, threw me on the range, fry cook. It got to the point where I was the general manager of the back of the house, the kitchen, and then I
Oh
was
wow.
also one of the head bartenders. So I actually did move out to the front of the house as well. I waited tables for 4 months, and then I started bartending.
That's
So I
awesome.
bartended for about 3 years, which that's also a great that was actually a great avenue when I started making puns. I would make some puns here and there to customers to see how that that was kind of my testing ground in a way when I wasn't doing it in the kitchen. So, and just like I said, food and alcohol, once you're of age, of course, is always a great conversation topic. It's always a great starter, and you can always find someone to talk to, whether alone, whether with people. It's a great place to be around. I got a lot of my social skills from bartending and from being in the kitchen. It's an interesting location to kind of learn how things and people work. You know, it's a fun time. So so like I said, I did it for about 8.5 years, and like I said, I still cook at home, but it's not really something I want to continue doing at this point.
I gotcha. So I guess I just to kind of wrap that up, I was gonna ask so what are some of your favorite dishes to cook, like specifically?
So I've done a lot of I worked mainly at American like sports bar, but it was kind of a fancy. I just cooked a ribeye tonight, which I'm slowly getting through. I love cooking steaks, chicken, any type of meats I like to handle. I don't like so when it comes to that, I like to cook. I don't like to bake, and that's very different because baking is very exact science. It is more. It's not really an art form,
Right.
and like one of the biggest ways I express myself is by cooking. Like this is my art form. This is kind of my canvas. Yeah, streaming and puns are now my more recent canvas, but like a lot of my years have been through cooking, and like so I always enjoy. I always kind of like do my best to kind of experiment, and it's just a fun way to do it. So, um, wait, what was the question?
Your favorite dish that you
Oh,
enjoy?
I really enjoy making pancakes. It's something
Really?
that was one of the first things I learned how to make, and I always enjoy experimenting with what you can put into pancakes.
That's actually really cool. So
Hmm
I mean,
Because I put in M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, strawberries,
ah,
blueberries, cherries, blackberry, like
ah.
anything and everything. You never know what you can put into a pancake. It's a relatively easy thing to make. You can make them runny, you can make them fluffy, a little bit of anything in between. So you never know what you can put into a pancake. You never know how the pancake's going to come out. So who doesn't love breakfast?
What are your thoughts on griddle cakes? And what is a griddle cake versus a pancake?
That was a griddle cake. Let me look it up.
No, a griddle cake is essentially like a pancake cooked on a range. It's basically it's a pancake. So
Yeah.
to an extent,
Um, let me look this up real quick.
but yeah, like
It's relatively similar.
basically.
It's just a different texture. So it's just from looking it up real quick, it has the same recipe. It's just different texture. So I mean, I'm always down to cook it in a pan,
Interesting.
but you know,
But yeah, that's actually really cool. So just as a sign of this personal curiosity, crepes.
yeah,
Like, do you know how to make crepes? Slash, do you enjoy them?
yeah. I mean, crepes are relatively easy. It's a cream cheese based texture in the middle with a tortilla it's a weird tortilla on the outside, right?
Yeah, it's essentially a real. It's not like it's not made out of the same stuff, but it's a really thin pancake that is wrapped around some kind of filling. So like cream cheese or I've seen
Yeah.
people put Nutella in there. Oh, it was really good.
Ugh. I mean,
Ugh.
it's
Ugh.
relatively easy. I'm not a Nutella guy. I'm
All
sorry.
right, no, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I
Um,
just I was never around it here in the north in New England.
I don't go quite as
You
gaga
know,
over it as some people do. So.
it's like cocaine to some people. I'm like, chill, guys. It's like weird peanut butter. You know, it's
Yeah, Ammo in chat says crepes are amazing.
yeah.
So that's always fun. Oh, Nutella pancakes, yeah.
I mean, it's a good way to use. I've cooked with it. I'm not a fan of eating, and
Yeah, I got you.
that's a lot of my cooking experience too. Like I don't eat spicy foods. I don't do buffalo sauce. I don't do mild buffalo sauce. I am anti-spicy food. I'll cook it all day long. I just will not eat it. Um, so my belief is that spicy foods kill the taste buds, and I feel like if you need spicy foods, then you don't enjoy good tasting food. But that's just my personal opinion. If you like spicy foods, go for it. But I will never do.
Right. No, I'm right there with you, man. I have a high tolerance for spicy foods just because of like I don't know. I assume my genes or whatever. I got a lot of My grandma is full-blooded Spanish, and she's always
Oh yeah, you're good. I'm
she's
French, Canadian, and Italian, so I'm not. Except for that all.
she makes a day of just eating jalapenos. She just loves it. But I have the capacity for it. I don't particularly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So complete different topic. We have talked about this, and it's come up in a couple games. One of the reasons you like our good friend Torg, Mr. Torg Flexington in Borderlands series, is your affinity for wrestling. Um, Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what's your earliest experience that you recall that you were like just in love with it? Like, what got you
Let me
there?
look it up real quick. So
All right.
I never actually watched it as a kid. My dad used to bring me to some wrestling events back when I was very young.
Uh huh.
I didn't really watch it too much as a kid, and then I remember look up the game. I think it was 2005. It was WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2005. My brother and I picked it up and we just started playing it. And like we never really like we kind of knew about the wrestling world, but
Uh
we never really got into it. And then the first game that we played was WWE Raw versus SmackDown 2005 in PS2. And we just kind of got into it little by little. Like we picked up the games every single year. I remember 2006, I remember 2007. And then I remember what so my first ever event that I remember watching is WrestleMania 25 with the main event being Triple H versus Randy Orton, which is one of the worst main events um, in WrestleMania history, according to a lot of people. This is just held a special place in my heart because I started watching. So WrestleMania takes place in Red actually takes place this Saturday and Sunday.
oh, cool.
Um, yeah, so it's a very weird event this year because it's gonna be in front of zero fans. It's gonna be in the Performance Center
Oh,
in Tampa or in Orlando over 2 nights. But normally it's a Sunday night. Normally it's it's outside in front of like 80, 90,000 people. But I remember because I started watching in about 2008. I remember watching in September 2008. I remember starting watching wrestling on a weekly basis. I don't know. I just randomly scanning through the channel and I found one wrestler that I really kind of connected to. And I just started watching the product slowly but surely, and I just got hooked. After that, I've always been a fan. I don't really watch the product too much anymore, but I keep up to the news. I listen to podcasts. I still play the wrestling games every now and again. So like I like ever since 2000, like late 2008, I've always been in encompassed in the wrestling business because yeah, you see the stories on TV and people call it fake, but it's scripted. You know, like the endings are predetermined, but those guys are out there busting their asses to put on a show. Whether it's in front of like 12 people in some weird barn or warehouse, or whether it's in front of 90,000 people.
right.
Like it's a very cool art form and it's subjective art.
Yeah, I mean
It's like fun.
they're
It's like
entertainers.
cooking. It's like stream. Yeah, they're entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a really cool way to present an art form. And yeah, you know, like who doesn't like to look at a hot guy in trunks every now and again? You know, I'm. You know,
Yeah.
but
No,
like it's such a cool art form, and the way they tell stories, not just through promos, but in the ring with their bodies. It's such a cool thing to watch
yeah.
and a cool, and it's not just the stories on screen too. Like there's a lot of drama and random crap behind the scenes that
Yeah,
you can watch that go on too.
they really do
Um,
do it up like that. That's awesome.
there's a documentary out. It's in the second season. It's called The Dark Side of the Ring. They go through all the very dark stories, the very dark, like real life stuff. Like last week they did the story of Chris Benoit and the murder suicide of Chris Benoit.
Hey.
It was 2 hours. It's on YouTube. It's a really good show. I highly recommend checking it out. Right
Nice.
now, yeah, they're in their second season. But like they go through the real, like the behind the scenes, the real life stuff of the wrestling business. I enjoyed that as well as the on screen product. It's just such a cool. To me, I find it really cool. You know, some people don't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean
But
everyone's
like
gonna have
to
their
me,
taste.
yeah, yeah. I like I can watch wrestling all day and talk and listen about wrestling all day, and like it's such a cool thing. You know, I don't think I'd ever want to like I'd want to try it, but I don't think I'd ever want to do it. I don't have the charisma for it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's just a really cool aspect of life.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I think you do have a lot of charisma. And especially with like getting the puns going, you spend a lot of time working on your social interaction, your charisma, and the streaming will help your performance skills, and I think it's really good. But one of the things I always want to note is that I think a lot of people, there's two key factors of wrestling that I think their detractors do not give it credit for. One is the fact that you have to be incredibly athletic to be able to do a lot of the stunts that they do, and to be, because you like, while it may not be like full force fighting, it is full force fighting in that you're being hit by 400-pound guys sometimes. I mean, those hits do hit you. They may not be meant to damage you. But they're meant to look like they damage you, and sometimes they do.
So the punching and the kicks aren't really real,
right?
But like if you get slammed down to the mat, or if you get tossed around, you're still feeling that with your body,
right? Exactly.
And taking that night after night after night,
it
4 or 5 days a week of taking bumps, that can do a lot on your body. You know, not a whole lot of wrestlers are walking around at the age of 60. You know, they've had like 3 hip surgeries and 14 knee surgeries.
And concussions out the wazoo.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, they know a lot better now with CTE research. But, you know, it's such a very interesting art form. And it does a lot of toll on your body. And yeah, you have to look great, you know, unless you're one of those really big, beefy guys. But even then, that takes a lot of time to build up muscle to be able to throw around other 400 meaty pound guys.
Yeah.
You know, that's not an easy task.
And
throwing around some 400-pound dudes, and let me know how you do.
And you misjudge a jump or something, someone could be jumping on you, hitting you with their knee as they fall down. I mean, it can be dangerous.
And right now, the style these days is very high flying.
Yeah,
like people are jumping all over the place, and that can be very dangerous if you misstep or misjump. Yeah, it can lead to the end of your career. There was a wrestler that died, like I think it was November. He took a suicide dive out of the ring and became paralyzed because he hit the barricade the wrong way, and he was paralyzed for a couple months before passing away. You know, you do it wrong, or one bad move and adios amigo. It's risky, but it's goddamn entertaining.
Tom Hardy, his top belt finishing move. Oh, wait,
Tom Hardy?
Wait, he was.
You mean Jeff Hardy?
I think we might be talking about Jeff. So
Jeff and Matt. Tom Hardy is the clothing guy,
right? Well, he's a actor.
I don't know who Tom Hardy is, but Jeff and Matt Hardy is the one I think that's right.
Sorry, I was reading chat for a second, but I did want to ask you.
I was reading your chat too. That's why I was concerned. I want to make sure.
So we got Boogeyman. we gotta mention. You said of someone that you really connected to, one of the wrestlers. What did you say who it was? I didn't.
No, I didn't. So one of my favorite wrestlers, and this is not, this is not like my top. Like this is not the best wrestler in the business.
Yeah, don't
by any means. But this is just something that like
someone
I always
resonates with you.
Yeah. His name is Randy Orton.
Okay.
So like, and his later work, like in recent years, has not been the best. Like he has to be really entertained with the story to really put 110% effort in. But back when he was an arrogant kid. He's third generation. His father was Cowboy Bob Orton. He was really, he's really big in the 70s and 80s. And so he grew up. He wasn't handed a silver spoon, but he was a very cocky kid. And I was kind of a little cocky in high school for some reason. So like, I need to kind of, I kind of felt that. And then, I've grown, thankfully. I'm not cocky at all. But it's just like, for some reason I connected with him. I don't know why. I wish I knew. I have to go back and I have to watch. I have to go back and I have to watch like those Raws and SmackDowns from back in those days to see kind of what got me. I've always wanted to do that. Now, we got some time to do that with everything going on. So I might as well take the time and do it.
Yeah, there you go.
So I want to find like the first show that I remember watching. Like that first Monday Night Raw. It was a very interesting time. This is like 2008. I was a sophomore in high school. Very, very, influential. Being 16, you're very influenced by a lot of stuff. So
yes, I know I know exactly what you mean. You find something that resonates with you, and you're like, "This is my calling." I love it, and yeah, I got you, man. Cool. Yeah, dude, that is awesome. I love how sometimes we're playing and something comes on that is like has wrestling vibes like Mr. Torg, and you're like, oh my god, I love this, Mr. Torg. Hey, we gotta get out of here.
It's just straight up Randy Savage.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Straight up Macho Man Randy Savage. I've got he passed away before I really started watching, or he was retired. So I've gone back and watched some of his earlier stuff, and kind of like how he is both inside and outside the ring is very interesting. It's very, very different. So he's married to Miss Elizabeth, who was his manager, and she was also around. She was a big part of wrestling back in those days too. And those two were married, and the amount of jealousy, the amount of controlling he was over here was very peculiar. And the way he set up his matches. So most of the guys back in the 70s and 80s were like, all right, we got 15 minutes. Let's just go out there. We'll read the crowd, do whatever. But he would lay out every single detail of his match. A lot of guys didn't like work with him because of that reason. And it's so he's very different, and he's kind of revolutionary in his way, because nowadays everything's scripted out, each move, like with TV, like being on TV, you have TV times, you have commercials, and you kind of have to time stuff out around that. And back then you didn't really have that. So so he's kind of revolutionary in that aspect. But like his personality is very peculiar and very interesting. It's always kind of interesting to go back and watch and see kind of how he treats Miss Elizabeth both inside and outside the ring. It's a very wrestlers are very charismatic, very like their egos are very fragile most of the time.
Yeah, I can see that,
especially in those days, because it's the
yeah,
size of the.
It's also a make or break.
You have to fight.
It's a make or break kind of system. You've come off the top of your game. If you show the slightest weakness, you may not be the next big thing. You may be the guy who gets beat by the next big thing.
You could be the jobber, the guy who loses every night. So
yeah, is that what they're called? Jobbers?
Yeah. You're doing a job for someone that means you're laying on your back for the 3 count, or you're tapping up. The jobber. So
I've heard that term before, but in other certain terminology, I've heard in other contexts.
I have a lot of wrestling terminology. Thankfully, I don't use it too much. But like our healer or face turn.
Oh
so
yeah.
if you're turning face, that means you're going from bad guy to good guy. Heel turn, good guy to bad guy. Like I use that quite a bit. Kayfabe is keeping within the wrestling world, like keeping your character at all times, whether you're in the ring or outside the ring, keeping kayfabe. So right now we're breaking kayfabe of being drunk in the ThePunHitWonder. We're being Dan and Nick.
Yeah.
So we're breaking kayfabe right now. Which is okay. Like
I think it's good. Like you said before, it's beacon behind the green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just you mentioned heel turn. I have an interesting little story about that, but
I'm excited. Please tell me. So I want to eat more of my steaks, so vamp for me for a
little bit. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me. I'll chat for a bit. I've been eating a lot of my food. So in Undertale, I believe it is. There's a very interesting all the boss battles are interesting. All the battles are interesting. But one of the boss battles is with I feel it's Metatron. Metatron.
You're right.
He does the I think you're doing the fight with him where it's like almost it's a wrestling match kind of thing where you have the heel turn is one of the options that you can take, and you're trying to get the crowd's energy meter up. So you have like you can do a certain thing where I forget what the moves are, but there's like 4 moves. One where you are positive and you do something nice. One where you do something I think where you like concede, one where you give up, and one where you do a heel turn, where it's like you smack him or something, and the crowd boos and the energy goes up and so on. But at the time, I did not know what that term meant, so I took it literally. I thought you were literally doing like a pirouette on your heel. Like I'm like, why is this making people boo? I spun around on my heel. What's that problem?
No, so when it comes to that, when you're trying to get the crowd to hate you, that means you're getting heat, because essentially the reason why you want to get heat on you is because you want to become the bad guy, and eventually at some point in the match you want the good guy, the face, to basically give you an ass kicking, but you got to make him earn it. So you keep putting heat on, you keep, whether it's underlying tactics, whether it's just keeping people down, slowing down the pace of the match, you slowly get heat until the baby face makes his comeback, and that's how you get the crowd popping. Is kind of working the difference between getting heat and having the baby face kick your ass. So having a heel turn means you're getting heat, which means you're getting hated by the audience, and that's what you want when you're a bad guy or you're getting heat.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what a heel turn was. Is you want the audience to like you, so they can you can eventually turn it around at the right time when everything's built up at just the right time. That's when you turn it,
Uh,
and boom, biggest reaction.
that's very interesting. And also, as a side note, welcome, Jennick. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate that. We're having a very chill chat with my good friend ThePunHitWonder here. He's a really awesome streamer. If you type in !rules, you'll see like basically what's going on. And if you type in !multi, you can see you can go over and see his channel. And he's actually got a setup of his own. We're chatting here. Thank you so much for that raid.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had a good stream yourself.
Yeah. Did we get a shout out? We did. Thank you, Dragon. Oh, Dragon,
Awesome.
you are on top of things.
Seriously.
But yeah, so that's really cool. I had never heard of that terminology, and then it was used in Undertale, and that was like I'm sitting there like, why is everyone booing me? All I did was spin around on my foot, heel turn.
I'm glad I was able to clean this up for you now.
Yeah, I think I eventually learned what it meant, and somewhere else, and it was like this big epiphany, like, oh, that's what it was. So, anyway, okay. So you had this big announcement before your newest series of you're playing the Phoenix Wright or the Ace Attorney continuation.
Yeah.
It was this really big moment that I really enjoyed. A lot of your viewers or a lot of all of us in the community really enjoyed and got so excited. And it was because your first series with Phoenix Wright was just so epic. We loved it. The voices, the cases that you did, all the things. So I just gotta know. I feel like Phoenix Wright is a series that really resonates with your channel. How did you initially get to that game? Like, what brought you to that game? Did you just? I think you told me
someone mentioned it to me. They're like, "Hey, this game has puns," and
that's the reason. I love
so, I took a good amount of law classes in college.
Oh, cool.
And like the court like the courtroom and all the business behind it has always been interesting to me. I never want to become a lawyer, but like it's always been kind of interesting to see how the courtroom works. And I've heard about this series, but I never played it. And someone's like, "Hey, this has a lot of puns." I'm like, "So." A good amount of times, like if a game has puns, I'm gonna look into it. Whether I play it or not, that's one thing. But like,
True.
so I looked into it and I was like, okay, it just the HE trilogy just dropped on Steam and on the Switch. I bought it on the Switch just because it's easier for me to stream through a capture card because it takes less up on my computer.
Mm.
So like I played through the Switch and like after the first case, I've never been into voice acting. I've never like I did it a little bit with through D&D and Pathfinder. Um, but that was after I started streaming. So like, I kind of had the weird entertainer. I got the weird entertainer bug, and so like I just started voice acting through it. And like after the first two cases in the first game, I was hooked. I was in a fraternity in college, and so I have a lot of dress shirts because we used to dress stuff every Monday, and we had a bunch of events. They would wear suit and tie for it. So I have a lot of dress shirts, a lot of ties, a couple of jackets. So I was like, I have all these just laying around. I'm never gonna wear. Why don't I just wear it on stream
There you
and
go.
and cosplay as a lawyer? Whether I'm dressing up as Phoenix or whether I just have all these clothes I'm not gonna wear for a whole lot, so might as well use it to my advantage, and it works, you know.
I,
And it just I enjoy the series as a whole, and I enjoy kind of the game. Like I'm not like I have fun with games, but like I want to tell a story. It's wrestling in a way. I want to tell a story, whether it's with my voices, whether it's with my body movements. Like
oh
so.
yeah. I mean, what?
I had no comment on that. so like,
Objection.
so like, so it's not just the Phoenix Wright games; it's the Danganronpa series, which is very similar. Do you know anything about the Danganronpa series at all?
I don't. Explain it to me.
Okay, so essentially, what it is you there's like I think there's 10 or 12 high school students, and they get recruited to this special high school and then they get knocked out for some period of time, and they're trapped in this high school, and the only way to get out is to murder your classmates without getting caught.
Oh, okay.
So
That took a turn.
each murder of a student requires a trial and an investigation.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting anime. It's a very interesting. I
Interesting.
watched the first episode of the anime. It's very honestly I recommend it. As weird as the premise sounds, I recommend it.
Interesting.
And I played like half of the first game. I bought the first game on play it on stream because it's very similar. You have to investigate and then you have a court trial to figure out who murdered who. And then if you get away with the murder, then you can keep living. But if you get caught, then you die too.
Hmm.
The premise is to murder without getting caught.
So it's to evade. So like
Evade
justice.
evade getting guilty.
Huh. So like
It's very interesting.
okay, interesting. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. It's an
There's
interesting
also a
concept.
couple of series. Professor Layton is another series.
I have
So
seen
she's a
that.
little British detective.
Uh
I don't know if it's a court. I don't know if there's a law, court or law, anything. But it's another detective series. I've always been a fan of detectives and solving mysteries. Like I love the game LA Noire. It's in my.
awesome.
I love LA Noire. I bought it when I first picked it up. It's no court, just mystery. Thank you, Val. I wasn't sure. I've never played it. I do want to pick up Professor Layton. And then also the Notary games is another puzzle type esque game. So it's just for some reason it just got like I got hooked to Phoenix, and like I realized that other games in the series, but it was tough to kind of find a way that I felt comfortable streaming it. Like I want to pick up the physical game and get a ROM myself before I start playing because I'm using an
Right.
emulator for it. And I don't want to pirate. Because I'd
Right.
feel
I got
guilty
you.
doing that. So
I know. I got you. And it also helps. Just being on the up and up. If you're gonna be streaming it for attention for potentially
yeah,
any kind of profit, you definitely want to make sure that everything's on the up and up.
exactly. And it just took a hot minute for me to find people to help me with that. So, and now I finally got the opportunity to get the physical game, the ROM, and I found a good emulator. I made it work, and I slowly as I get through these games, I'm going to pick up the other series of the games, and it just takes time. Plus, I don't want to pigeonhole myself
Right.
into just one specific series. I want to switch things up a bit. But like I realized playing the games I was playing at the time, I was not enjoying them, and I had kind of had to fake it. I had to put on too much of an entertainer voice and entertainer feel. I was
Yeah.
like, I just don't want to do that. I want to actually have fun while I'm doing that. This is just a hobby for both you and I. This is just a hobby. This is just us having fun, us shooting the shit, whether it's with each other, other people. We're just here to have fun and have a good time.
No, you're right.
And hopefully, I'm sure Chad agree. Chat enjoys us when we have a good time. When we're not having a good time, they know it. So like, if I'm not having a good time, then they know it, and that's not fun for anyone.
Right,
So
and I think that is a bit of a I don't know, sort of a weight that like if you're playing the same game too much, or if you play a game to the point where you are no longer interested in it, or if you just feel like it's you're playing it as in a style that you wouldn't normally. Like for me, that's one of the reasons why I can't play Skyrim, because the way I would normally play it is this really hoarder person who like would walk
I
around with fully encumbered.
and
Yeah.
one of the questions I had, I have for you is so one of the things I've noticed, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but I want to know the nitty gritty about it. It's like the nook and cranny rule. You
Yeah.
play games like Borderlands and like all these survival horror games or survival games, and you just collect anything and everything. You want to check every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
What started that? Like, how did you figure that out? That was your play style. Just kind of go more into that.
Uh, that is an excellent question. I will answer that in just a moment, but I do have one more question for you from chat.
Okay.
What started the bonk command? And I think I know the answer to this, but what started the pun bonk?
So, my birthday last year, I went up and hung out with Felgoth because you're doing a stat crate.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we did is it was right. So my birthday's November 6th, so it's right after Halloween. And it's to the point where like all the Halloween stores are having really good discounts. And
Nice.
so we went to like a Halloween store, like one of the costumes, and I picked up the McCree outfit that I have for really cheap. And
Yeah.
I found, and this was at the time it was like in the middle of like my Phoenix Wright, or kind of at the end of my Phoenix Wright series, something around there. And we found this gavel for like $2. And I'm like, That's perfect. That's what I want. And so like I brought it back because I was like, oh, it's gonna work. It's a a judge gavel. I'm happy with it. And like for some reason, I bonked myself one time. I don't know where it came around, but like after that, it just started. Like I have a command for that, and I enjoy it. So I guess that's just where it came from. It just I randomly found it at a Halloween store for $2. I've had to use duct tape on it. So, but like that's just kind of where it came from. It was just a spur of the moment, improv thing, and that's just kind of like what a lot of that is. What a lot of this is just random ass improv, which is a good time.
100%. I mean,
You know?
as a side note, Roadie was completely unplanned.
That's
He,
actually that's a great story I want to get into as well. I've
he
always been
just
curious about that.
I happen to have a large panda plushie that I gotten um the China location in Epcot, and that was Big Roadie, and then I had a small panda plushie who was I got him actually in Shanghai when I visited China, and it was I just sort of like happenstance. I happened to have Rhodey invisible in the frame, and I think someone was being really positive to me, and I couldn't help it. I just reached out and grabbed the fluffiest thing I could to hug,
Mhm.
and like everyone really loved it, and I really loved it. So I sort of. I started referring to him as Rhodey, and then the little panda became Rhodey Junior just because by it's a panda,
Yeah,
and I don't know, it grew.
it just works. It's so bizarre how some things just work. And we're thankful for them, and just random spur of the moment things. You know,
Yep. And Gaming Horizon 8 says when you play a game too much and also in the style that you wouldn't normally play, it creates a type of burnout where it isn't fun or anything, and you kind of have to put on an act while playing it. And I completely agree, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. And for me, one of the reasons, or one of the ways I get over it is, I actually set really early on. I set a schedule of only like a maximum of 4 hours for most of my streams, and that allows me to play games in the style I'm comfortable with, outside of streams, without feeling like I'm not being entertaining. So that's one of the reasons why I have relatively short streams. I know a lot of people stream for like 6 to 8 hours normally. Like,
I mean, 4 hours is a good time. Like that's not overkill. That's not too much. I've done a couple. When I get stuck with Felgoth, for some reason he gets me into 12-hour streams, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know how the hell you can. It's just insane. So, like 4 hours is a good time. It's not too much. It's not too little. You get a good basis of kind of how both work. So,
yeah, and I wanted to ask about the McCree hat. You explain how you get that on your head and with your headphones.
so I have one cowboy hat, and then I have the actual McCree cosplay hat. The McCree cosplay hat, I just wear earbuds, but the
Mm.
the other cowboy hat, so I cut two. Like it was a very cheap $3 hat on Amazon. So what it is, I cut slits, like right next to the where I put my headphones. I just cut slits there, and I just put my headphones through.
And that
So
that 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 kind of ingenuity is really just one of those things that it's like the difference
like
between
I don't
yeah.
I don't like earbuds when I'm playing games. I don't mind earbuds like when I'm working or playing. I don't know why. So like I said, I found like this hat for like $3 or $4 on Amazon. I was like,
Uh,
it's a cheap enough fabric. I was like, if I need another one, I'll pick up another one. $3 or $4. I'm okay with that. So I just
yeah.
cut holes in the slits right where my headphones would go, and it's worked.
No, that
And
that
like I
is
said, for
awesome.
the actual McCree hat, that was a bit more expensive, so I'll just wear earbuds for those nights. It's one night every now and again when I stream Overwatch. So, it's not anything too crazy.
That's really cool. This is something, I think this is the meat of the conversation. I oh god, I'll answer your question. Um, you asked about the nook and cranny rule, and I was gonna try to skip past it.
Yeah, no, no, no. You weren't getting it by me, homie. I just, is that part of your personality, or is that just something you do when it comes to gaming alone? You know,
it is it's something. No, it's definitely not something I do with gaming alone. I think a lot of people who saw the pre-stream cooking section saw I did a little mini tour of my my apartment here,
Mhm.
and it is absolutely horrendous. Papa Zillion actually said something very, very appropriate. He said, we were talking about my floor, how dirty it is. He goes, "What floor?" Yeah, no, 100%. I have crap everywhere, and it's just because I want to attribute it to um part of my family are the most absolute I'm gonna say frugal, but there's other words that you can say that are more correct and stronger.
Mhm.
um they don't get rid of anything, and it's not they don't hoard physical things as much. It's they hoard like money and stuff, and things. They feel like they came from and there's a reason for this. My family actually came from a very poor upbringing. My grandpa was he worked on a railroad for what was essentially minimum growing up. They had four kids. Four kids. My grandma, she was a stay at home mom because that's what you did back then. That's just the way the
Mhm.
world was. She never uh, thought she never even was had the idea of going and doing anything else. No one else had that idea of her doing anything else either. So it was just that's the way it was. But so they had a 6-person family with one person having income of what was essentially minimum wage, and they made everything um spread out as far as you could. There were
Mhm.
no leftovers. There were no non-clean plates. You cleaned your plate. You ate everything. Um, and the problem with that is it breeds a mindset of waste is the worst possible thing you can ever do. If you don't use something, then you save it and you use it later. If you the worst part of this is when it comes to food, because for me, when we went to a growing up when we went to a buffet, you got as much as you could. It wasn't all you can eat. It was all you can fit in your stomach without passing out. So you got if you didn't get more than 2 plates, you were considered wasting, and you weren't like in trouble, but you were looked down on by the family. So it wasn't like a oppressive, like angry, toxic. It was just like that's just how they grew up. So for me, that's one of the reasons I avoid buffets if I can, because I tend to overeat. It's one of the reasons why I avoid um, having a large container of something, because I tend to eat all of it. I don't portion out small amounts. I go for it because wasting or not eating or throwing something away. So that applies to games as well. If something has a use, no matter how minuscule it is, it has value. And if I do not collect it and if I leave it in a cave, I am wasting, and that value it's worse than having no value. It is wasted value. So if I
Guys,
find
this is very
yeah,
behind the green screen, by the way. Like this is
it's
for the
sort of
record.
it's
I was just
a
curious.
yeah, it's a little bit of a neurosis that I have where like
Yeah.
in Fallout, if I find something that has a pencil, it's a pencil. If I find a pencil in Fallout, that pencil could be converted into lead, which could be converted into something else. It has value. I gotta have it. If I find a weight, a paperweight, well, that paperweight can be converted into scrap metal, and so that 2 pound weight I have to carry it. In Fallout 3,
Yeah.
you find a paint gun. That paint gun can be used for something. Now, if you find I think there's some things that are indeed trash in that game. There's like not the pressure cooker, but there's some things that are heavyweight. A paperweight in Fallout 3 has no value. It has like one value of caps, but I do have some limit where it's valueless enough that I see it as valueless and I can avoid it. But anyway, who started the sub war and introduced the truth? Okay, that's a good question. Um, anyway, all that being said is the nook and cranny rule for me is if there's any chance that there's something that has high value, and especially if it has zero weight, if a game has zero weight for ammo, by the end of the game I will have thousands of rounds of everything, because I will try to use the least ammo that I can and collect the most of it, because who knows, I may eventually need it. I don't know. So
Mhm.
luckily in
No, I
real
was just
life, good.
curious. I was
No,
just curious. I didn't know. you know.
Yeah, no, and last little bit. Luckily, in real life, I did get to the point where I was able to overcome that in terms of money because I've found value in other things but money. I've actually come to the point where I believe that money is a means to an end to making better value in the most valuable thing in my life, which is this community. So I'm taking any money I have. I'm not collecting money from it. I'm putting money into it because I think that's the value in my life now.
Yeah.
So I've been able to overcome it by basically putting it on its head, taking money and seeing it as a tool rather than the end goal, which is what most of my family sees.
No,
Uh,
the roadie on your screen is very cute. You might want to keep that around
I like
for
him.
future streams.
Well, thank you, ready. And I'm adding as we talk. I am adding little things in their commands. There's like if you type in exclamation point sad, he'll look sad. If you type exclamation point lurk, he'll wave and say thanks for hanging out, or he'll something. It's cute. Um, yeah, I'm learning about it. I gotta say thank you Rainbow again for teaching me about that. So the meat and potatoes for the pun interview. Sorry, this interview is supposed to like this chat session was supposed to be. I wanted to learn more about you.
I mean, I at the same time I want to learn more about you. Sprinkle, but you know, you here as well, because I mean, you're half of the show, so you know, it's good to have a little bit of you as well.
I got you.
So,
I got you. Yeah, and I'll weigh in now and then, but I wanted to know. I think we've heard the story of how I started streaming a few times. Now what was the key moment that you actually you transitioned from um I guess going about doing things that you want to do and then realizing that streaming would be not only a viable but a very something that you wanted to do.
hmm.
It's an interesting question.
It's a very
Uh
interesting backstory. I'm just trying to think of how to put this properly because I don't
huh.
want to bury anyone.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Um,
Okay, yeah.
so
It's what
so I started streaming in October of 2018. Um, so I had become a part of an Overwatch Discord. Um, and this is where I eventually found some of my really really close, I some of my best friends that I still play with daily. Um, and I just got this computer from a friend of mine. He sold it to me, and you know, it gave me the chance to really have a computer for the first. I've always had laptops, never had an actual computer. And he was
right.
like, "Hey, you should try streaming." And like, it's Felgoth. You know, he's one of my best friends. I've known him for getting close to 15 years now. I've known he was streaming, and he kind of was like, "Hey, try it out. Why not?" So, yeah, I first started streaming just Overwatch with the Overwatch Discord I was a part of, and they really helped me out with the follows and the views at the beginning to get me to affiliate. And so, you know, some people, you know, and then I found some other communities who were helpful, and that kind of really helped me get off the ground. I consider myself very lucky that I found some very helpful people get me myself off the ground and get me to kind of a good base.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot of them that are around now. That's fine. You know, I still talk to them every now and again, but it's just like I've gotten lucky. I've gotten very, very lucky with meeting some awesome people who have, you know, who I've gotten to play with, who I've gotten to stream with, who I've gotten to hang out and chat. And one of the reasons why I lurk all the time, I don't really, I talk and chat every now and again, but like I lurk a lot just because I like to watch. I like to see how people work, how people stream, and just kind of learn from them. And so, like at the very beginning, I was very um reserved, and I realized like that's not gonna the way that I do things, that's not very good for me and my image and how I want things done. Like the way I want my channel to be is like I can't be quiet and reserved. So and I've always had very big confidence and self-esteem issues. Like I have like I should probably see a therapist at this point for it, but like I have I have very very low self-esteem and very little confidence in myself. I've always been that way. So this is something I've done to work on that, and it's helped out. Like I have more confidence in myself now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, vile. So like it's just there's a whole lot that I need to work on that streaming has helped me, It's helped me realize that like I was a very, very negative and pessimistic person before this, before I really got onto the Twitch scene.
Right.
And having like becoming becoming the pun hit wonder in this sense has really helped me see like I don't need to be that negative asshole I've been for God knows how many years. Like, yeah, I'm still kind of negative towards myself, but when it comes to other people, I see a lot more in other people now than I did back then. Um, and I see Pun and Nick as two different people in a way. Like, I slowly want to combine them to become more Pun than Nick, but like, it's kind of behind this green screen type thing. Like, once the camera turns off, once the mic turns off, you turn back into a normal person. And Pun is just Nick with positivity turned up to 10, and just trying to have fun and a good time and spreading
Yeah.
positivity, and it's never something I've never really done that before, and this has helped me out done that quite a bit. So, I needed this, and I just happen to get super lucky with finding people who are positive and who see something in me, and I see something in them. So I want to help. I want to help them as much as they want to help me, and it just leads to a very positive and very welcoming and kind of community building aspect. And that's something like it's something I never really knew I wanted because I've always been a loner. I'm a huge introvert. It's just like I will not like you have to drag me out of my house. like um so it's such a weird thing for me to experience, and I'm changing for the better hopefully. And it's just it takes time, and the more I do this, the more I try new games, the more I try different things. It just we grow as people, and I've met some amazing people through this, and I met some very good friends, people that I deem friends. And so like it's kind of helped me become a better person. So I guess that's kind of why I wanted to try it out. It's worked very well for me
Yeah. No,
in most aspects.
I 100% agree. That's one of the things I never thought I'd get from streaming. Is like you're trying to you think you starting it out. You think, oh, this is a way to to I don't know, reach out and touch the world with some of the positivity that you try to make the world a better place. But then it turns out that the stream and the community that you are part of end up making you a better person. And it's like you said, you try to see those things that are the ideal you, and you try to reach them slowly but surely.
Yeah, it takes
That's
time. And I mean,
yeah.
I've seen some people change. I've seen some people change, like myself. One of my really good friends, Brody, he was very much a big troll, and now he's a super positive kid.
Brody Bolt.
And yeah,
Heck yeah, I love that guy.
he's at that age 16, 17. He can be very influential and kind of that he thinks he's kind of untouchable, and over time we've had talks, and it takes time and effort, but it's worth it in the end when you have that positive effect on people, and when you can actually see it and kind of see how people change and it's really cool, and it really helps you feel like you're doing something not just for yourself but for other people, and that's very rewarding
Hmm.
at the end of the day, and it makes all the time and effort and the crazy crap we put ourselves through with streaming all more worth it.
No, you're 100% right on that. But I have a question. For sort of people who are new to streaming, what would you like? This is for you to them. What
Yeah.
would be the biggest piece of advice if someone said, "I would like to start streaming"? Uh, what should I do? Or better yet, they just say, "I would like to start streaming." What would be the best piece of advice if you could only offer one piece of advice that you would offer them?
Have fun with it. Just take the time. Like, have fun with. If you're not having fun, then you're not really going to be enjoyable to watch. If you're not enjoying yourself, if you're not enjoying the game, you may have zero chat. You may have zero viewers. You may have one viewer. You may have 100 viewers. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? I've gotten random raids and hosts of like between 2 and 180. You never know who's going to come through that chat window. If you're having fun, if you're legitimately having fun and enjoying the game, yeah, you might have to entertain a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like if you're having fun, then your chat's gonna have fun. and they're gonna enjoy it whether they don't know the game, whether they know the game.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're a super like Phoenix Wright has brought a lot of awesome people that know a lot about the Phoenix Wright lore, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is really cool, and they're like, oh, I can't wait for them to see this part. Like, or there are people who don't know the series or the games, like, oh, I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not having fun and if you're not entertained on the inside, then you cannot really entertain on the outside, and that's gonna show. Chat's gonna see that. You know, that's how I see it. So have fun with it. You know, you don't need a face cam. You don't need, the best games. You don't need the newest games. You don't need ammo right now. You know, just play the games that you want to play, and there's a crowd for that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a crowd for the game you want besides Pokemon Puzzle League. I realize that, but that was just me wanting to say that. So,
How are you doing on that? You said you got addicted to that. Have you cracked the
uh,
addiction?
yes, thankfully.
Oh, good job.
I still play it once every few days.
Yeah.
But like this was like I was kind of so this was between the Fantasy Star Online 2 closed beta and the open, which was like a month. I played it on stream and like I'd played it as a kid on it's on the 64, and I played it as a kid a lot. And I never beat the harder difficulties. And like now that I have a 64 and I can play it, like I wanted to beat it. I wanted to continue. I wanted to see how far I could get. And like it the super hard difficulty is just based on luck. Yeah, it's RNG, it's luck. It's stressful. It sucks. Like there's some ways you can kind of beat the computer, but like you have to really, really put work into it. And just it was really so I found a random podcast, random free shout out for him. It's called Ultra 64. These two guys, they also bring guests as well, but they're going through every single Nintendo 64 game that was released in North America, which is 290 games. They're playing
Oh,
every
wow.
this guy has collected 290, I think 291 Nintendo 64 games, and they're playing every single one for about an hour, and they're reviewing it. They're reviewing.
Interesting.
Sometimes they group games, like all the NFL Blitz games, a bunch of racing games they grouped up. No, so like, but they're playing at least a little bit of every single Nintendo 64 game. And I found them because I want to see if the Pokemon Puzzle League soundtrack was on Spotify, which I didn't think it was, but I was like, shits and giggles, let's see what happens. And I found them. And like
Huh.
they talked about it, and they gave it really good praise. And like this game is a lot of fun. And it's based off a game, Puyo Depon, that came on Japan back in the 80s. And then that was then turned into Tetris Attack, which is a Yoshi based a Yoshi skin for that game for Pokemon Puzzle League on the
Mhm.
Super Nintendo, and that was really popular. It's actually still is a competitive scene, and this is probably the best version of the Tetris Attack style. Um, so it's a very interesting excuse me, a very interesting adventure, and it's addicting. Um,
No, that's
I still play it every now and again. I don't play it as much because I have fantasy. Um, So like there's still stuff, that I can play outside of it, but it just I don't know, for some reason I just got hooked, and it's so I think the reason why I got so hooked into it is because of you get into like
yeah, where you just get
this
into the
moment, this
game.
zen moment where you're just completely focused on the game, and most rounds need to last like 2.5 minutes, but like I play a really hard computer. I want to see if I can go 4 or 5 minutes, which is double the time, and like it's to the point where it's inhumane to play it on a Nintendo 64 controller. Maybe a controller like a PC, but like, not a Nintendo 64 controller. It's not made for that. It's also not made for the system, because there are times where the game will drop to 3 frames a second.
Oof.
I'm legit. You can see the 64 smoking, and I'm like, I'm breaking this shit. Let's go. Like it's fun to do that.
That's funny.
So
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I actually I think I've seen you play once or twice, and I was like, oh man, I don't think I have the
I never
mental
thought I could
fortitude.
either. I never really think I'm good at games. Like I'm silver and gold in Overwatch, but that's just more fun. Like I was at plat at one point, but
Yeah.
like I've never been one to be. I never consider myself good at games, but I think this is the one game like I put enough time into to where I'm good at. And like I know it's a very niche game. Like I never got any new viewers or any new followers. Hi Phoenix Affinity, by the way. Sorry, we'll talk more about Phoenix right here in a little bit. Um, But I never considered myself good at games, but this is just one game that I was like, I want to beat this, and like I did eventually beat it on stream, but like it took me. So you have to win 16 battles with the last two in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I died 413 times to win 16 times, which that's not a very good winning percentage.
Yeah, but
So what I'm trying to do now is I want to beat the hardest difficulty in under 100 losses. And right now I'm doing really good. I played yesterday for about an hour, and I have 10 wins and 22 losses. So I'm doing a lot better than I
yeah, that's
have been
way
in the
better.
past. Just those last like 3 or 4 battles. It's the AI is quicker than any human can actually work
Oh,
in the way
so
it actually like you
what
know
what you're
like
telling me is that it's the Dark Souls of Pokemon. Yeah?
it's the Dark Souls of Tetris.
It's the Dark Souls of Tetris. Nice. Love it.
Like some people are Tetris fans. I recommend picking up finding a ROM and an emulator on the PC. If not, you get a 64 because that's the best way to play it. But pick up this game or Tetris Attack. I think there's one on the GameCube. I can't remember the name of, but it has like 4-player version of that game. Um, so
I just want
Phe-
to.
Phe- yeah, real quick, Phoenix. So we're doing a little podcast episode. Like I said, I'm definitely down. I'll be playing more investigations next week, so we'll definitely talk about it more, or we can talk in the Discord. But I definitely want to talk more about more with you about investigations. So sorry, I want to reach out
Yeah,
real
no,
quick.
no, no worries, no worries. I actually have something too. It's Gaming Horizon. You've been putting in some really good stuff. I've been reading what you've been putting in. I'm sorry that I'm not reading it all like out loud or interacting as much as I normally do, but I really want to say thank you for being so interactive
Yes,
and
thank
putting
you
in your
guys for coming to
thoughts.
hang out. This
Yeah,
isn't we're not gaming. We have two still screens. We're just here to shoot the shit and have fun for a while. And I'm glad
I think
you hang
everyone's here
out.
for
And
roading, mostly for me,
honestly,
on my
yeah.
side at least.
At this point,
Mostly for roading.
Rhodey's the bomb.
Roadie,
So
pretty much, yeah. uh, but we also had a good question from Dragon Computer, and I was gonna ask this as well. As a just an example for this, I tried 2 times. I tried being a YouTuber, and I went from making videos and without editing, then making videos with editing, then going to streaming, and then I became over to Twitch, and that's where I sort of became drunk right over here. But so was Twitch your first platform where you created anything? Like video content.
S- yes and no.
Ooh.
So I had 2 videos like a month before I started streaming. I played 2 levels of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, which is still one of my favorite platformers of all time. It's coming on the Switch. It should be on the Switch, I think now. Actually, they're coming up with the HD version of the first game, which I've been waiting for patiently. I want to check that right now as I talk. But so um, I have 2 videos, and like you can tell, I'm just beginning. Like I'm not comfortable in front of a microphone. I don't have a camera up. I don't even have a capture card at this point. Well, I think I was playing on Steam for this, so I didn't really need a capture card. But
Right.
it's very, very, very rough to watch. Yes, I love Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. It's honestly, it's in my top 10. I probably couldn't name off a top 10 right now, but it's definitely in my top 10. That LA Noir, Fallout 4, Overwatch, just a couple of those in the top 10.
Nice.
But like, I guess series as well. But it's just YouTube was just a fun little thing to kind of get used to being in front of a microphone and talking to myself, and not really having any viewers. I still want to work, so oh, actually, speaking of which, so I want to start a new series on YouTube. This could be just purely fun. So I have a bunch of PS2 games that I don't want to stream because I don't really think people are gonna enjoy them. So I want to create a series on YouTube called PS Tuesdays, kind of like the PS Tuesdays on um on um on Twitch. Right now it's PS4 days with Kingdom Hearts. We're getting back to PS Tuesdays. I'm almost done Kingdom Hearts with Unleash. That's been a game. That's been a game. That's just been a game. It's been a game. It's been a game. Anyways, so like there are games that I want to play and record and present to the world, but like I don't want to do it on Twitch because I don't think my audience will want to see that. Like right now in the mail today, I just got my copy of NBA Ballers Phenom.
What was that again?
NBA Ballers Phenom.
Okay, interesting.
So it is. So do you remember like the NBA Street games or
Can
like
can
NBA
you
Hang
can
Time?
you explain to me what is this NBA? I'm just kidding. It's National Butterbeer Association. I feel
Yeah,
yeah.
national. Oh, I almost said a really bad word. National. I said a
Bombshell.
word that I almost said bareback.
I don't get it.
Anyways,
Yeah, I don't get that. You're riding you're horseback riding. I
yeah, there we go.
don't.
Anyway,
All right.
so NBA Ballers Phenom is kind of like an NBA Hang Time type game. Yeah, it's kind of like the arcade version of NBA. I
Yeah.
remember playing it a lot on the PS2, and I want to play that, and I want to record that because that's a really interesting story mode. But I don't want to play that on Twitch because I feel like it's not gonna fly with my audience. Like I know, like I've talked to enough people in Pun University to know kind of what they're looking for when it comes to content. So like I have some games I want to play, like I Need for Speed Carbon I want to play too, so I can put it up on YouTube and have videos that people want to watch if they want to watch. And if not, then that's okay too. Like I'm not looking to do anything with YouTube other than better at
Yeah.
that. So if I have more announcements, I can make them better. And stuff like that. Like I mean, I've talked to you about this, like making promo posters, like making some promo videos would be kind of fun too. Like having like a Twitch trailer for a game coming up. Like if I can find some stuff from Phoenix Wright for the next Phoenix Wright game and make it like a little movie trailer for the next Phoenix Wright game, or like have like some random game that I want to play, like LA Noir, I can come up with scenes, put those together, and then be like, ThePunHitWonder plays LA Noir. Not just a promo poster, but like have a little trailer too. I think it'd be kind of fun.
Dude, yeah, no, I really am looking forward to you're talking about you putting stuff on YouTube. I love your promos. I love the things that you put together for a lot of things. You put together a really cool promo for this event actually, and I really am looking forward to what you put. And
See,
and if you have any questions, I actually used to do a lot of video editing for myself, but then again, you've
yeah,
probably got a lot of that under
I
your
have
belt.
zero.
Oh, well then yeah, questions away.
Like I have
Excited.
Sony Vegas 14. This is the first program I've worked with, and I've done very. I just watch a lot of tutorials, and I just kind of go with what my gut's feeling.
I
Like the
gotcha.
promo posters are one thing. Like I don't know what got me started on that. Um, it's just like I don't know what got me started on that, or like why I wanted, but I've seen nobody else do it. And you and I've had this conversation before, but like I'll bring it up again. It's like I don't know how effective they are, or if if they work, if how nice they look. Like I'm very pessimistic on my own work, so I'm just like, oh, this is C+ work, or not many people are gonna appreciate it. But it's just like I try, and I want to see if eventually catches on and it works. Because like I said, I see nobody else doing it, and I have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know.
I think
I
I'm gonna tell you a bit of an anecdote. I used to cast for a group. I used to do Overwatch, sports casting, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Where I
and
casted
you
for
you
things.
shown that off on stream as well. Which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and exactly. I tried to. You're scrounging in my chat while we're.
Hey,
Uh,
we're talking here. Leave chat alone. Don't need that.
um, but
I need my scrap, yo.
I got you. I got you. Feed the fire. My I casted for them, and we did get some viewers. We got back in those days, they were happy with like a few people in there. I was ecstatic to break 10 people in there because it meant I got people to sort of chat with. Um,
Yeah,
but the problem was I was the only person. Like I created the cast, I created all the scenes, I went through and painstakingly put like all these different variations of scoreboards and stuff so that every time I could press a button and the proper score would be showing, the proper animation would show, all these other things. I did all this work into it, and then they would play the game and practice and stuff, but they didn't even mention it to their own friends. They didn't even put it out advertisement. I was like, guys, if they were trying to get noticed and trying to get big as players. And I was like, guys, if you want people to come watch your stream, because the whole reason they were doing the cast was because they wanted people to come watch them and have fans. I say, if you want people to come watch your stream, you have to get the word out there. And they're like, yeah, but that's what the stream's for. I was like, yeah, but the stream also needs to get the word. You have to get the word out there for the stream. So
it's a double-edged sword. You know, like the stream is one thing, but like if people aren't coming to the streams, then you know it's tough to kind of balance that act. You know.
Yeah. But in order to, like you said, or what you were alluding to, the promos are actually a really good way to spread the word up, get the hype up beforehand. Like having a schedule is one thing. You pretty much, in order to have people regularly come and visit you, you have to have a schedule so they know when to find you. For another thing, they having promos is a really good way to get the hype up, because people see it. You know, even if people know you're there, I mean, reminding them every now and again to be like, hey, look at this. It exists.
Yeah.
Is a nice way to keep them engaged.
All right, so I have a question from my chat that I need to know. So Dragon Computer asks, what inspired Junkrat to start wearing Hawaiian shirts on? And also, I have a secondary question to that. What inspired Junkrat to start showing off his chest on stream?
All right. First off, the answer to the first question. My mind was in the gutter when I said that. Real quick, I just wanted to read up a little bit. Yeah, Gaming Horizon has a good question, or a good topic that I want to get into in a second.
Yeah.
So the Hawaiian shirts initially, I was actually I wore Hawaiian shirts all through college. Like that was my clothing of choice. I always was the Hawaiian shirt guy. Not many people wore them. I had some from growing up. I just had some my dad, hand me down stuff. But I also, like, whenever I bought shirts, I always love Hawaiian shirts. They feel so soft, and they are. I like bright things. I am a bit. I have some narcissistic tendencies. I do like to be seen and noticed, and so wearing a bright pink fisherman shirt, which is essentially a Hawaiian shirt with purpose. Wearing a bright pink one of those, people see you. Wearing a Hawaiian shirt with black and gold flowers on it, people see it. Then when I got into Hawaiian shirts are awesome gaming. When I got into streaming, I wore the most comfortable shirt I had, and I wore the Hawaiian shirt. And honestly, I don't know. I think it might have just been because I was a little bit stifled back in the first few days. I literally had a desk. My bed right next to the desk, and then I had this big ass green screen fold out thing that I lodged into my bookshelf on my right and propped up on my desk to keep it up. And so that was my professional streaming setup, is I just had it propped up behind me. And it was such a small space, and the computer running, the lights going, everything, it got so hot. So in order I actually did that out of being too freaking warm. I didn't want to say hot because everyone. Anyway, so popping open a couple of you narcissists, but popping open a couple of buttons was just a lot more comfortable, and it started getting a little bit of reactions. I was like, oh well, okay, I guess I lucked right into that. Same thing with the panda, same thing with Rhodey, but. Yeah, that's pretty much the story behind the Hawaiian shirts. It's not really much special. I just happened to be the Hawaiian shirt guy in college.
I just, it always kind of intrigued me. Like it works. I just didn't know kind of what the origin was. Oh, Dragon asked that too, but I've always been kind of curious. That was one of the questions I kind of had.
Yeah, it never really. It kind of strikes me as odd that more people don't wear Hawaiian shirts just because they're so comfortable. I just don't know. Like t-shirts to me are too restricting.
Bro, I'm in Massachusetts. We don't have Hawaiian shirts up here.
That's true. No, I mean I get most of mine from like Walmart and God, what's the other Ross and other Marshalls.
Yeah,
but so we had a good topic from Gaming Horizon, and this is actually something I've talked about before, and I think we both talked about this before. Is I see there's probably more types, but I see two main types of streamers. And I would like to ask you, before I get into my stuff, what if you could classify different types of streamers and then classify yourself as one of those types, what types of streamers do you think are out there, and then where do you fall into those brackets?
So the first type of streamer that I kind of really think of is like the pro player, the one who's really good at the game, who sticks to like one or two main games, kind of
Mm.
like the Fitzy, kind of like the XQC.
Like
Kind
Ninja on Fortnite.
sure, if you want to call him a pro streamer.
I don't know. Well,
Uh,
I mean, I just know that his name comes up a lot. I've never actually watched him. I don't
yeah,
know what he's about.
me neither.
I
I've
just
seen
know
some
that
of
he
his
exists.
most interesting clips, so I've never actually sat down to watch him play. But you get that first type, the guys who play pro level, or someone who's really popular for their knowledge and their experts and their skills on the game.
Right.
Second, which is closer to us, as entertainers. We're here to put on a show. We're here to have fun, engage in chat, make them feel welcome and warm, and hang out while we play games, whether they're playing with them or not. Kind of like to provide a show. Um,
Yeah. No. I want
I
those.
I have a third type. I just don't know how to
Lay it out there. But yeah. Are you
So
gonna
this third
say
type of streamer is not
physical
one that
attractiveness streamer?
Thank you. Yeah,
There.
you were reading my mind.
Yeah.
Um, it's just
So
they're there for attention. They're there to feed some sort of uh they're there to quench the thirst of the chat that
and
the chat is looking for.
I have a brief anecdote about this. Just a quick little warning. If there's any children in the audience, please cover your ears. Parents, cover your children's ears. I actually knew someone who like it was she was a very she's very attractive, but like I knew her. I knew that I knew her husband, and I really enjoyed playing games with her. She was really cool. She was actually I thought she was really skilled at the game too. She carried me through a lot of games. But she found out that she got a lot more viewers, a lot more followers when she wore less clothes. And but she was a really great person, but she also found like she shot up to like 1,000 followers in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
But she had two problems with this. One is she started getting harassed a lot, and that is the dark side of that kind of streamer that a lot of people probably don't see and a lot of people probably don't care about. But
I don't think
they,
it's not seen. I think people, I think it's
well,
it's a weird
I don't
it's a
think
weird
they
conversation to have.
right.
I'm
I
down to
think
have it.
that
I'm down to have it.
I think that they a lot of people are not there thinking about other people. That they're thinking about themselves, and so they don't acknowledge that the person is a person, and they don't see the harassment. But the harassment happened. So that was one. She had a lot of harassment. She's not streaming anymore, which is probably why she's not streaming anymore, because she got so much harassment. Um, the second thing is a lot of people stayed there for only a couple minutes. They popped into the stream and popped out a couple minutes later. That's what happens.
Take
So
take that as you will.
yeah.
It's just
So
it's and like this is why I think
wild.
this grab and gab, if I get easy for me to say, I think this is a really cool idea. Like, yeah, we show up, yeah, like we show off some stuff. I'll put on a suit and people thirst over. You got your chest hair, but like we want to have a little peek behind the green screen, because like we are people, and like we'll stream for several hours a day, 5 days, 6 days, how many ever days, and we're people too. And with like, we have our own mindsets, we have our own ideals, and like, we want to get to know you guys as well as you guys, we want you guys to get to know us, and like we have fun with it too. We're I'm Nick, he's Dan, like, we're people behind the masks. And like,
Yeah.
we want to connect with you guys on a more personal basis. Not all the time, but sometimes it's good, especially with everything going on now in the world. Like, we need people to be friends with, and we need positivity.
Yeah.
It's just like, so we want to be here for you guys, and have you. We're all going through this crazy time.
Yeah. No. I,
It's just, so we'll show off chest hair, and we'll show off suit, and but it's not just us either. All the streamers are people too. But that third category, they know what they're doing. It's like, they have personalities.
yeah. They're business savvy. Let's go with that. You just got the people who want to get into that kind of thing. That's a way to do things. But you got to realize that why aren't you paying God? Oh, I got you. Oh, we'll have to play again sometime. But we're doing a podcast here. Sorry, type in exclamation point rules or exclamation point multi to check out my my friend's stream here. The Pun Hit Wonder. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
No worries.
Oh
I actually
yeah,
dropped frames. So I just dropped frames, so it was perfect timing.
Oh, cool. So I was gonna say, yeah, if you're gonna get into something like that, streaming in general, I almost said twitching in general. Streaming in general, has I like describing it like that when my family's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm twitching right now." Okay, I guess I'll talk to you later. But so streaming in general does require some level of mental fortitude because you are going to be encountering people who are negative, who don't agree with your current choices. And that's going to be something that you have to be able to deal with. And now you don't have to necessarily be, rude or fight back, but you have to be able to either take it, or you have to be able to figure out when to just end it, when to just like stop the conversation, say, no, sorry, you can't be here anymore. This, like, I don't like banning people, but some people are here to hurt the community, and this community is the most important thing to me. So no, can't do it. But people who choose to be the third type, the physicality type of streamer.
That's a great way to describe that.
So yeah, I'm gonna say that those are the three. You got skill streamers, you've got personality streamers, and you got physicality streamers.
Yeah.
So the person who wants to be a physicality streamer, that's a way to play. That's a way to
if you can make it work, and if you can make it work, more props to you. Just and this actually kind of works back to the new streamer question. Like, what content you put out on your channel is the type of audience you get.
Well, and that's what I meant is, like, you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to have a lot more mental fortitude than most other streamers, because you're gonna be dealing with certain people that are your audience may not be the same type of community as other streamers audiences. Our community is mostly built on wholesomeness, energy, positivity, and most of the time memes. But in general, we just sort of kick back and have fun. Now,
Yeah.
some like if you go to a skill streamer, their audience may be mostly revolved around wanting to get better at the game and watching the best to become the best. And so,
Which, hey, if you can make that work, and hell, more props to you, because not a whole lot of people can do that. Pretty, you know.
yeah, exactly. And those were actually I only had two, but no, you're right. I really do think that the third type of streamer is a third type of streamer. I feel like entertainment streamers are, like, to be a skill streamer is probably the most difficult, I feel.
Oh, hands down.
Because you really do have to be like the top 1 or less percent of whatever game you're playing. Now, if you're
And
playing
it's not just being good at the game, you also have to worry about, you have the stream to worry about too.
Well, not
So
necessarily.
you're not just focusing on the game as well.
I don't know about that, because there's a lot of skill streamers that I know that they play really, really well, and they don't actually interact with the stream at all. If you can pull off being a personality streamer and a skill streamer, then your path is paved.
You got it made.
Yeah,
you got it made.
You're gonna be attracting all kinds of people. People are gonna want to watch because they're both getting interaction and they're getting skill. That is insanely amazing. But that's very rare. Like I've often acknowledged, and you've often acknowledged, that we're not gonna be the best at the games. We don't put the time and effort into it. We're not going to be that, and that's fine. But if you are really skilled at a game and you want to be a skill streamer, then you're going to have to prove that you're one of the best in the game. You're going to have to prove that you're going to have to be the top. You can't just be in the top 10% and expect to get the same numbers as the person who's in the Overwatch League or the whatever League of Legends professional. It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's the way skill works. In the same way, being an entertaining streamer, there's a lot of things that go into it. Like some of the things that you've done, Pun. You've got your Goku emotes. You bring Goku on there once in a while. That's adorable. I love Goku. Who's your other cat again? I forget the name of it.
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
Yeah,
Sherlock and Goku. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. He's an asshole anyway. he's he's antisocial.
I got you.
So actually, right, I have Goku right here. He's sleeping. He's looking at me like, "Dad, shut up." It's time to go to bed. I'm like, hey, it's 8. So, um, but it's just and you have Rhodey. Yeah, you don't have any pets of you, but you have Rhodey, which I mean, that's like a child to you at this point. So,
Pretty much.
but both
He's
on
my
screen
manager.
and yeah, yeah. See,
He's my
there's your
manager.
manager, your
Yeah,
agent.
Brody's my
There you
manager.
go. See, problem solved. And like and being entertaining, like that takes a good amount of effort, but in a different way. Like, yeah, you're not skilled at the game, but like you have an image, you have a brand, you have whatever type of persona you're trying to put on. You have to put that on,
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
hours of work that you
yeah,
put into it
and
off
it's
stream.
because you have to practice. You got to practice. Like yeah, you have your on-screen stuff, but like voice acting, you got to practice that. That just whether you want to be good or bad at it, like you have your great like all props to you. Like my voice acting, I try, but like I need to practice more. I mainly practice in the shower. I'll just come up with sentences and work my Miles Edgeworth voice, a Dick Gumshoe voice. But I mean, your Winston voice just comes naturally. It's
Oh man,
insane.
I
Uh,
yeah, it did come naturally. No, I'm really lucky that I'm able to do like I've that actually that's kind of another story I don't really want to get into just because it's a long
that's
one. Um, but I wanted to mention like various elements like your end screen with the
yeah,
that people putting together like songs and stuff for their intros and their outros. That is all effort that I think a lot of people don't take for granted. Like I've had friends start streaming and they or friends who've been streaming for a while and a lot of times I'll see people who they just and this is good at the start, but you need to build on it. You just sitting there playing video games and hoping people will come watch them, but you gotta stand out. You gotta put uniqueness into your stream, things that other people don't have, or even things that other people do have, but with your own spin on it. And there's got to be reasons why people are going to come in there. Um, I've rated some
you
people.
gotta you gotta make a reason.
I've rated some people that they didn't have a webcam, so I couldn't see them react. They didn't have a what do you call it? Any kind of they had alert, but they didn't really react to it. They just sort of it happened, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" And then they keep playing the game. I'm not gonna rate them again, and it's not because I don't like them as a person or I don't like them as a streamer. It's because there was no feedback, there was no reaction.
yeah,
Um,
and I mean we're here to help each other grow, and if you're not appreciative of that, then we're not gonna help you out.
yeah,
That's how I see it. I don't want to speak for you, but like, if I raid someone and they're like, "Oh, hey, cool, appreciate it," they don't talk to me about the game I played or like, give me some appreciation for it, then, like, I'm not gonna help you out.
yeah,
Like we can't take anything for granted.
yeah, because when you
We
stream, when you raid, it's you're trying to entertain your community with you're trying to help someone else's community by injecting some positivity from yours, but you're
yeah,
also trying to bring your people and your community into a place that you know that they'll enjoy. And if there's no enjoyment and everyone just leaves, then you need to find someone else to raid so that you can keep that enjoyment going. Um,
so this is actually a great little spin-off. Dragon Computer has a question. Does Junkrat choose to censor himself just to keep the positive atmosphere? Is there a deeper meaning to it? So why are you so positive? I guess is the short end of that stick. Short end of that question.
All right, I have a good answer to that, but I want to continue one quick question, one quick moment on the rating part. I actually
Okay.
got rated by during a Papa Zillion stream that we were collabing. I got rated by a guy named Frost Prime and the
Okay.
Frosty Cole. They were insanely positive. They were awesome, and it wasn't really like a legit raid. It was a thing he was doing a segment where he was basically going into a bunch of people's streams, like small streamers, and he would like say, "Hey, how's it going? Entertain me." And I, people entertain. I watched some of the other people he streamed, he rated, and they all had great reactions. But
Yeah.
he passed over a few people because A, they didn't have a webcam, or B, he went into someone's stream and they had music on so loudly that he wouldn't be able to hear them talk. So there were there were some like he rated me with his group of like 40 50 people, and he was really positive. I did a couple events for him, and he like did a huge sub bomb, and I hit him back. I hit him back hard.
Nice.
But no, he was
That's
awesome.
so you. That's
The
so you.
I mean, you can't come in here and get unscathed, bomb me with the sub bomb. That's crazy. But he he specifically passed over a few people because they didn't have a webcam, because you couldn't see them react, and because they didn't have any capability to hear. The problem is Twitch and streaming in general is the reason why people watch streams is, for the most part, the interactivity, the live aspect. If there's no live aspect, they might as well be watching a YouTube video. If and YouTube videos are great. I love watching YouTube videos, but I'm not there to interact with the person. I'm there to either see entertaining things or learn things. Like for game theory, I'm both entertained and learning.
Oh hell yeah!
But there's no, yeah, exactly. But there's no interaction, or direct interaction at least, and I'm okay with that. That's not the medium.
You're going to YouTube for that reason.
Exactly.
You know.
So when you're just starting out, that's one of the biggest things is it may be hard to get that momentum, but eventually you're gonna have to make sure that you're as interactive as possible, or else you lose out on opportunities like that where people may not raid you because you're not, giving them a feedback. This was a whole harassment part. Oh, my. Okay. I'm going to read that.
I just saw some big ass wall. Holy crap.
I'm going to read that. No, Gaming Horizon has been putting some really good stuff in chat. I'm going to read that later. I'm probably going to go through this and read the chat afterwards. If I go to a channel and throw a joke out, or make
also, guys, sorry we're not as interactive. Like, we're saying about being interactive.
No, and that's... This stream is a very special stream. We're not going to be as interactive or energetic today. That's just going to be happening. We're trying to make this into a podcast.
We both need a chill night every now and again.
Well, and I actually do hope to put this out on YouTube.
I'll censor myself.
No need. So you mentioned censoring myself. How do you mean both?
So this is from Dragon Computer. He said, and I quote: "Does Drunkrat choose to censor himself just to keep the positive atmosphere, or is there a deeper meaning? I don't know if he means like when it comes to curse words, or I don't know if he means by that, or like just not calling people out on stuff. I'm not. Dragon will have to clarify on that. I don't know if you can do it in your chat, or
Also, no, and Dragon does.
When he comes to swear, he beeps himself. Yeah. So why do you censor yourself when you swear?
I think it's funny.
Honestly,
I think it's funny.
I love, censoring myself. It's really hilarious,
Exactly. It's a
riot.
A good time. But Dragon also put out another thing. He said, to counter that, I know some streamers who don't use webcams at all, or all the time, but they are very reactive to chat. And yes, you definitely can be, but having a webcam there is actually a deciding factor. Sometimes when someone looks at a thumbnail and they don't see a webcam, they may pass over. And I'm not saying that you have to have a webcam to be a good streamer. I'm saying it really does help.
It helps a lot. Not saying it's necessary. Like, I know some people who don't use webcam. Like, they use like the capture, like the weird it's not a capture device. It's like on Steam you can have like a little, instead of like your a webcam, you can have like an avatar. You know what I mean? Oh, Lena, that's okay. Like I said, you do you. Ghost, welcome back. So like I don't know what it's called. I'll have to look into it. But they have they have an avatar that picks up their facial reaction camera. So
I have one of those.
But it's something. Great. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
It's called face rig. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a face rig. There you go. So people have face rigs. Those work just as well.
Well, the reason I don't use, I actually have one. I really wanted to get one that looked like Junkrat. I was gonna pay a lot of money for it, and problem was it doesn't work perfectly. The eyes tracking didn't really work perfectly. Everything. I actually paid for the pro version too, and I never use it because it doesn't look.
It's difficult.
Well, yeah. Like if they can get the technology,
you have to have a simple design, or you have to really like put a lot of work into it. And
well, I mean, no, I don't know about that. Like I don't have any control over the back end. That's the problem. So I know they have versions of it. Like there's actually a couple things going on in YouTube right now and streaming where they're it's a little bit on the saucy side. We don't really need to go into that. Anyway, but there's a few.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a few of those where they have like an avatar that pantomimes exactly what the person is doing, and those are very well put together and they're they are. They're perfect. Well, but they're like a perfect 1-to-1 reaction of the of the movement of the person and their face or features and everything like that, and the ones that we have available to us down here on the consumer side it's not that good, so can't really use it. Drunkrat. Okay, I got a question from Dragon Computer. Did Lil Pun decide to drop into Pun Hit Wonder's stream, or did Pun invite him? With that, introducing his brother to stream turn him into a streamer. With that, did introducing his brother to the stream turn him into a streamer?
So that second question is no. He does not want to stream. He has fun coming on and hanging out, but he does not want to do it himself. So he and I are very much alike personality wise. But for some reason I got the entertainer bug and he never. Um, so I invited him like back when I first started. I told him about it. He didn't really do much. He didn't really. He was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then for some reason, like a couple months ago, or maybe like 3 months ago, he started watching and hopped in. And I was like, whoa, like he first followed, like he first dropped a follow. I was trying to get to affiliate, just as a little helping thing. And then like I said, about 3 months ago, he started watching. I don't know where I came from. You're having a good time. Like you put a lot of work and effort into it. He thought, it was kind of like a flash in the pan where I do it for a little bit and then stop. But like he sees I've been doing it for this long and I enjoy it and I'm making a lot of, I'm putting a lot of effort into it. And he's like, you're doing a great job. I like and watching your stuff. I'm like, wow, like so.
That's
And
that's a pretty good compliment.
I was, like I never really told my family like, you know, so so he came on, like I had him come over and I was like, "Hey, do you want to stream?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." Yeah, sure, we were playing NFL Street 2, so this was purely just a come meet Little Pun and just shoot the shit and
Right.
it's just it's I have to play a game that he wants to play, which I'm okay with. Like we have similar taste in gaming. Like I said, I told you, he picked up the Borderlands Handsome collection. He's enjoying the hell out of that.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Um,
awesome.
so like because he watched us play. Um, I'll answer that in a second. So like it's just so and he has fun with it, and he kind of sees how much I'm having fun. You know, um, so this is gonna tail off to what Lena's asked: Is it better to keep streaming away from family? I've not told my family yet. So I don't tell my family. I don't promote it on Facebook or Instagram. I keep Pun away from Nick. Just because it's not that they won't understand. Like they'll understand why I'm spending so much time home and I won't go out a whole. They'll probably answer a lot of questions there. It's just like they have to be very understanding and very supportive. If not, then it's a different generation. I've talked to people in their early to mid 30s who are like, I don't understand Twitch at all. Like Twitch is so weird and bizarre for me. And these are people that are, a couple years older than us, drunk rat.
Yeah.
It's a different generation. It's a different mindset. So it's tough to explain to older generations what Twitch is all about, in my opinion. I could be very wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of parents who are supportive and hey, go for it, do your thing. But like I'm sure a good portion of the older generations don't get it and will probably shy away from it just because it's something new and different. And that's just my opinion, but that's how, you know,
All right. I got you.
I don't know how you feel about it, but
Uh, that's a complicated. Like
yeah, it's very
yeah.
it's a case by case, but
I did try to get my family involved, especially at the beginning when I first started on YouTube. I was telling my friends, I was telling my family, I'm trying to get them to follow me so I can get my numbers up because at the beginning I was all about the numbers and that was when I was on YouTube.
yeah,
And I got my family, they followed me out of courtesy but they never watch anything. They're not interested in any of it, which is cool. But my mom and my dad, they know me very well. They know that I am very much like that. You just said like flash in the pan kind of thing. A lot of the things I ever tried, I'm gonna list off a couple things that I'm a little bit I don't know reticent to talk about. I got a little bit into hypnotherapy in college, which I don't really believe in straight up hypnosis, but I do believe in the power of suggestibility. I became a certified hypnotherapist, which doesn't actually mean anything because I got the degree in like 14 days. I have a big ass telescope because I really wanted to get into astronomy. I really enjoy the stars. I enjoy the walk.
it's because you're a star. That's why.
Pun! I have a bunch of rocks from a rock collection. I've done a lot of things where I basically go in and after a couple of weeks, months, whatever, I get bored of it and I move on. So they thought this would be the same thing. You know, he's gonna jump into it. He's gonna invest some money and time into it, and then after a little while, he's just gonna be back to playing video games and and watching YouTube and stuff like that. And after a while, my dad started being a lot more supportive. My mom and dad, they both are supportive in theory. Like neither of them really wants to hear much about it. They're not interested in it. But they are like, yeah, you know, you do you, as long as it doesn't affect your career. So it's interesting. Initially I got a little bit of pushback where they were like, you're messing up your career, you're spending up too much time doing this stupid game thing. And it was discouraging, but hey, you push through it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if my parents were to find out, and I would tell, if I had to tell my parents, hey, anyway, but here I'm doing, you know, I'd probably have to tell them, hey, I'm making a little bit of money off of this, it's helping pay bills and whatnot. So, and like the money has never been important for the record, but like to my parents, it would be. So, like, hey, I'm making a little bit of money out of this. Like, I have enough games that I'm buying, so it's not like I'm wasting money, quote unquote, on games. Like,
Right.
so what I'm putting into it is what I'm getting out. And it does help a little bit with bills and stuff too. Like when I'm not buying a game, it goes towards student loans and gas and food and other jazz. So I'd probably have to explain that to them, you know. But but also, they know I've always been a gamer. So if I'm doing something beneficial while gaming, then it's just something I would never want to ever bring that up with them ever,
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever,
Ever.
ever, ever.
Ah, I got two interesting questions here. One is a very very deep question, very personal from Pricey. He says, "How did
Yeah.
Pun get his famous guns?" We've had a lot of chat about Pun and his famous guns in chat.
Hi, Siri.
People talking about your did delivering mail, carrying all those packages help build up your guns to the massive artillery they are now. I love it.
Um.
Yeah.
So, I guess this kind of goes back to the watching wrestling thing. I thought, at some point in time in college, I was in North Carolina and this very big wrestling. So there was a time where I was building up my body to become a wrestler. This was before I joined a fraternity and got involved in the kitchen. Um, um, but so like I really hit the gym hard. I really put on a good um frame on myself.
Uh
I've always been a tall kid, but I've always been very skinny until I hit college, and then I really started to put on some muscle. Because it was, I mean, I lived a 30-second walk from the gym on campus, so I could just go in whenever. And, I worked out a lot, ran a lot, and so like I put on a lot of muscle, and I've always maintained it. I haven't grown it a lot, but I've maintained it, and the thirsty people in chat enjoy it. So I gotta give the people what they want.
huh.
And like during the summer, I'll be wearing some more tank tops. Hopefully, I can get in better shape.
There you go.
But that's just me getting off my ass.
Yeah.
Like I have Ring Fit Adventure. I need to start playing
Oh,
that more.
I've heard that's rough.
Oh my! I put it on the hardest difficulty, and holy, bruh, it ain't fun. I do want to stream it once just to see just to see people me dying, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So I guess like it just it helped me with confidence for a little bit to be big and muscular, and I was close to a six pack at some point in time. That was way too many years ago. So like, so I guess it's just like it helped me with some physical confidence, but like it never really helped on the inside. So and I've always maintained it enough. They've been a lot bigger, but it's just what I have
Yeah.
now. I guess works for the people who are into that.
Yeah, I've always had a six pack, but I store it underneath my keg. So,
I mean, I got a couple more beers in the fridge if you want one.
oh man, I got nine Corona bottles because I drank
Oh,
3 for a stream and I hate the flavor. So now I have 9 bottles of Corona. I don't know what to do with. I'm not throwing them out because I paid good money for that. Also, I hoard. I got 2. I thought you traded that your 6 for a keg. Oh no, I just throw the keg on top. Um, I have a good question here from Wild Dragon. Does anyone from work watch you, and how do you feel about it?
So not at my current job, no. I've mentioned Overwatch to a few coworkers because I haven't. So that's brought up some conversation, but they don't know I do this at all. Um,
Interesting.
so like my old restaurant job, like a few of my friends, a few of my really good buddies, like they know and they watch from time to time whenever that, like when I was playing Final Fantasy X, I had one of my really, really good friends. His nickname is Coach. I call him Coach because I was his rookie. Um, it's a weird kitchen dynamic. But so like when I was playing Final Fantasy X, that's one of his favorite games. So I would see Coach and stream quite a bit, and every now and again they pop in. But um, so like no, I don't really tell people in my real life that I do this. Um, I think that's also kind of kept me away from dating as well. Like I don't want to tell people, hey, I'm a Twitch streamer, because I mean that just I don't think I could pull that. It's just so I don't really tell people out like in real life that I do this. Um,
And I got
and,
that
and
on my
I
dating profile. Is a Twitch
I
streamer.
Eh, no, I mean, and like, if you can rock it, go for it. I have the confidence for that. As Nick, not as Pun. As Pun, I have a bunch of confidence, but as Nick, like, I don't think I can pull it off
And
and,
sometimes you gotta
and
tap
feel
into that.
and feel comfortable doing it. I don't know.
Funny thing is, that actually, as a side note, this is for streamers and for everyone who's watching. It's just a sort of a peek into the psyche that I've sort of developed. I am a very low confidence person outside of the stream element. I'm actually I feel very comfortable here with you guys because you guys are my like. I don't know. I say it all the time, but I don't mean to downplay it, but it is 100%. You guys are my family, and I feel very comfortable here. I don't feel like I'm being judged. I don't feel like I have to worry about anything. So I you know I am who I am. I'm not super confident outside. Like in work, I'm a little bit meek. And in college, I was very introverted. I never did anything. I really don't go out and do anything with friends all that much. But sometimes, sometimes I actually will redraw up this personality in a moment. Like if I have the mental wherewithal to like notice that I'm withdrawing and being uncomfortable, being uncomfortable, and I can sort of make the switch mentally, or at least bring out part of it, and just sort of like, okay, shame is gone, everybody, time to bring it out. Let's do things. Um, it really does help to overshadow that part of me who I don't like, and bring out the part of me who you guys are making into the ideal version of me. And so with Pun, do you ever find yourself trying to draw on that Pun personality a little bit
I
in other
think that's
parts of
one
life?
thing I've been. I think it's one thing I need to do. I haven't done. So I did it recently with the bringing back the Ace Attorney series. Um, because I felt like I was kind of losing what I felt comfortable doing. Like I enjoy Horizon Zero Dawn, I enjoy Dragon Age, and like I enjoy those games, but like I couldn't get anything out of it that worked for me on stream. Like I played Horizon Zero Dawn the other day, just hanging out by myself, and like I was enjoying the hell out of it. I was enjoying the hell of it on stream too. Just like I couldn't work properly my I couldn't properly work Pun into Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, and I felt like I was not doing the game justice,
Yeah.
and I felt bad because it's an amazing game. Like I kind of want to go back and start it over and just play as Nick because I feel like it'd be a great time. And it has been a great time. I just I wasn't doing the game the justice it deserves. With the games like Ace Attorney and the games that I play on stream, I feel like I can do them justice because I have the proper material to work with it. And I feel like I haven't really done a whole lot of reworking with Pun. Like I love the avatar that I have. Um, Enemy, one of my first few followers, and he's actually a really good dude. He used to be a Fortnite streamer. He's I talk to him every now and again.
Mm.
But like I feel like I want to rework it, but I don't really know where to go from here. And that's super scary to me because with streaming, I feel like you have to keep constantly evolving and changing for the better. You don't want to get too much into a rut, or you don't want to you don't want to keep banging your head against the wall too much. It's good every now and once you find something, work with it, but then it's also good to change and adapt You know, so and I don't feel like I've done that a whole lot lately. Besides bringing back Ace Attorney, so I feel like I need to do it. I just need to figure out where to go from here. You
All right,
know,
yeah. I think I know what you mean, and yeah, a lot of the times you talk about evolving for the better, and a lot of the times the best way to do that is organically. Like take what you find that people enjoy, or take what you find that you enjoy, and try to use that more often. Take things that you don't like and try to use them less, and so on. Um, punt press my oh wow, dude, 556 max puns
I
deadlift.
have
Wow.
massive thought. I have tree trunks for leg. Like my massive leg, my max on leg press is like 680.
Dude, leg press was that was the only one that I liked in the gym because I could max out the machine and just be like, yeah, no worries,
No, we're
guys.
talking pound. We're talking pounds, not kilograms. Sorry, I don't know what that is in kilograms. Um, but no, I have very like my legs are my strong suit. Like my chest game is super weak, but like my leg game is strong. I have tree trunks.
Yeah, I used to bike everywhere and my legs were good. Um, that sounds so bad saying that. Anyway, so we got a thing here from Dragon, who first introduced the collaboration stream. I don't think that either of us can take credit for that. I don't think anyone in our community can take credit for introducing the collaboration stream. That
I think he's talking about between you and I, and kind of
so
how we've reached out to like Despas, um, and kind of like how we've kind of created a little community that we've created. Not the whole collab stream in general. I think he's talking about kind of how you and I have kind of reached out to each other and how we've kind of reached out to our um communities as a whole to kind of work together.
yeah,
I hope that's what he means.
I think over time, and
Okay, good. Yeah,
I'll answer
that's
this.
what he
Yeah. Okay, cool.
meant.
I think over time, I've had a lot of shifting goals with this. So obviously at the start, it was like when I back on YouTube, it was to try to get out of the being in the office and make a name for myself and over time, once I like started actually interacting with people, I started really just falling in love with that. Just chatting with my new friends I've made. And Discord Melody was like one of the first people I think I ever met on here, and you actually met her back on YouTube. Um, and so over time it became like I wanted to build this community of awesome people, and then I created the Discord. I had a lot of help with that, but when building the Discord was all about making the community more involved, making it more of a place where people could just hang out, a forum. And then over time, as the community built, I started adding in things like the Minecraft server and other things. We don't really use them all that much, but I want to over time create a more involved community where people can be there and get all kinds of social interaction as well as gameplay. And then as I met these really cool streamers that I respect and enjoy, I've I've kind of wanted to create this interconnected neighborhood of communities. Not a team, not a stream team, not a clan or whatever the other terminologies are for groups of people who are officially together, but like a neighborhood. So there's the Pun University is its own community, but it is adjacent to the Hideout, which is its own community. And they both have, a lot of people from the Hideout are hanging out in the Pun University. A lot of people in the Pun University come out and hang out in the Hideout. And people, we have people going back and forth across streams. I think it's really good for both of our communities to grow, for all of our communities to grow, and it creates this network. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that this network of people are being so, I don't know, involved with each other. It's awesome.
I can
So,
agree with that. I mean, and like, so I enjoy collabing with people, especially
oh,
Drunk Rat. Like every Friday night, we're just jacking it, and before that, it
oh
was
yeah,
Who's in the Borderlands. It just it brings a whole new aspect to streaming too, because it's not just you, the game, and chat. It's you, your chat, the game, and then whoever you're collabing with in their chat too. And it
yeah,
just brings a whole new aspect to the stream. And like for me, with puns and wordplay and innuendos, like it's someone to work off of. It's not just me working off the game or working off a chat. Like I can work off whatever you're saying, spin it into a pun, and boom, like it just works with that.
right.
And like that's why I like streaming with other people like Satan and Caitlin and Fell. I mean, Fell knew me, I
Well, I
know
mean,
Fell before Fell was Fell, and
she's
like yeah.
She's
You know,
basically Satan. So
sorry, she's basically she's basically saying my bad.
yeah,
It's just but that's why I kind of like working with other people.
yeah,
It just it helps me help make more puns, have more opportunities to make more puns because I'm working off whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, I can make it work. It just no, sorry, I want to add bleed in there too.
no, 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 you're right.
It's just like
Yeah,
it's just and everyone's different in their own way. And there's different people want different things out of streaming. So if I can introduce other people, others, my chat, my community, to other people, and they find something out of that, then they're using their time wisely on Twitch, and like that's they're being entertained, and like especially right now with everything going on, like we're looking for something like that to be entertained, to have a place of security and safety and happiness and joy. And if I can introduce someone to if I can introduce someone from Pun University or the Hideout, if you come to hang out with me, to someone else in another community and they enjoyed over there a lot, then we've done our job of entertaining chat
yeah,
and entertaining our communities. You
yeah.
know?
And I think with collaboration, there's two big pros that I can think of and one big con.
Okay.
Um, the pros that I can think of are the first pro is yeah, there's a lot of intermingling. So like people from one community who may not have seen the other community can get to know the other community and vice versa, and it becomes this thing where both communities grow as a whole because the Venn diagram becomes more of a circle,
Yeah.
and so people who are only exclusively in one community may be entertained by the other one, and so they become like they go over to the middle where both they're overlapping. um so both communities grow as a whole, and then the negative that I find is, as a streamer, as an entertainer, I tend to have a very not unique, a very specific style, and that is I am a loud, brash, yelly person.
You're loud, mother.
Basically, yeah. When I'm alone, that works very well because I can yell and scream and do my events and do all kinds of things. I can interact with chat in a crazy way, and I love it. I really do. I really do. But the con with collab streaming is I really have to tone that stuff down because it's not just me the spotlight here. It's two people hanging out here, or three people, or four people, or whatever. All being, everyone is an entertainer. Everyone is the star of their show, and so when you have multiple stars sharing the screen, it can get a little bit loud, a little bit crowded. And so everyone has to tone down their own stuff a little bit, or have time where they can spend just reacting to chat
Well, that and it's also building chemistry. Like you and I have built.
very
God
true.
knows how long we've been streaming together. So like you and I have learned to work off each other and kind of work with that. And like, but they know that if drunk rats on the stream, like at least I know with my community, if they know drunk rats on the stream, it's gonna be a loud and crazy Friday. You know.
Right.
Um.
So that's the con, and it's I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's something that you have to work around. And then the other pro is, like you said, yeah, it's someone to work off of. It's someone to create new and unique combinations of conversation. Things that you would have never heard from just one person. You're gonna now hear a back and forth. Someone to create jokey situations, and the other one to finish it.
Okay.
So
So I actually have a great question, kind of pertaining to this. Selena Ladybug asks, "What if you don't connect with the stream? Sometimes I get the feeling they don't like me or care that if I'm there, but I always doubt,
I
thinking they
you,
might have a bad day."
you cut out a little bit there. Could you repeat that?
Oh yeah. Sorry. So Lena asks, "What if you don't connect with certain streamers? Sometimes I get the feeling they don't like me or care if I'm there, but I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, thinking they might have a bad day, or they're having a bad day." When it comes to that, like sometimes yeah, it's a bad day, but other times, like it's if you don't vibe with a certain streamer, then don't hang out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the mindset if you don't feel obligated to show up to your stream. You have your own life, you have your own things going. And if you don't like a stream that you're in right now, turn to another streamer. It's okay. If you don't
Yeah.
like the game they're playing, that's okay too. You are spending your time and your effort, whether you're lurking with a tab open or you're hanging out in chat, you're spending your time doing that. If you're not enjoying that, it's okay to not be there. You know,
Yeah,
Uh,
I
is
100%. I wanted to pretty much say the same thing, that your time is very valuable. Your
yeah,
time, like to a streamer, your time being there is probably the most valuable thing that they're going to get from you. And even if you're donating money or donating subs or donating anything else or whatever, your time being there and being a part of this, interaction, creating this community and stuff, that's the most important thing that you can be giving to someone. And if you are spending your time with someone who you're not enjoying, it's the streamer's obligation to make their stream a place that people want to be. Now, it's not your obligation to suffer through a place you don't want to be. If you don't enjoy our streams, or if you don't enjoy someone's stream, then we don't want to make people suffer. And if you're not enjoying my stream, or or I'm not streaming something that you're entertained with, that is not it's not your uh it's not your onus to be there. It's not your requirement to be there. Like exactly like Pun said, or exactly like Nick said.
no,
Um,
I
but
mean, it's just
yeah,
if you're there having a good time, then go for it. If not, that's okay too. Like spend the time you want to spend doing what you want to do. If you enjoy making yourself suffer, then stick around. But if
yeah.
uh,
And if a streamer is
oh,
not
that's a
like,
really good question.
and this is a and we can get to that. I just want to finish
Yeah,
this.
no,
This is
sorry,
No, it's cool.
go
It's
for it.
cool. This is kind of not necessarily. This is not going to be positive necessarily to say, but this is the behind the green screen. We can be ourselves. If a streamer is having a bad day and they make you feel negative for being there, eh, you know, sucks for the streamer that they were having that bad day. But if you're being an entertainer, you need to get past the things that are bothering you. I'm sorry to say, but if you're having a bad day and you let that bleed into your stream, and you that's why a lot of streamers take breaks. I'm sitting here shrugging so you guys can see, but you can't see. But that's why a lot of people streamers take breaks, because if they're not having a good time, they don't want to produce content that makes people feel down. But if you have a streamer who goes and has a and tries to stream, and they can't overcome whatever is happening negatively, I'm sorry to say, but you need to take some time for yourself as a streamer. And if you're watching someone who's making you feel bad for any reason, not just like whatever circumstance, then it's that's their fault for creating an environment that you don't feel okay, and they don't you don't owe them anything. They don't have your they don't have you on a requirement to be there. So
Yeah, and I mean, if a streamer's having a bad day, there shouldn't be. It's okay to be like, "Hey, I'm having a crap day.
well, yeah,
I'm gonna cancel stream until tomorrow when it's better." You
yeah.
know?
And I'm not saying that if you have a bad day you have to cancel. I'm saying that if you have a bad day, then you have three options. You can take some time to yourself and try to stream another day, and that's sometimes good. You need to take a break sometimes. The second option is to bury it, to put on an act, because you are an entertainer. I'm sorry to say, but as a streamer, you're an entertainer. You're there to entertain, and sometimes I'm not having a good day, but I'm gonna be drunk rat, because I'm there to make other people happy. I'm not there to make myself happy. I'm there to make you guys feel better, and to make you feel welcome, to make you feel like this is your family. And I truly believe that. And even if I'm having a bad day and I don't want to have an interaction with people, if I choose to hit that stream now button, if I choose to hit that go live button, I'm going to try to be the best damn entertainer I can be, because you guys are the most important thing in our lives. So I mean, the third option is to go in there with a pissy attitude, and you're gonna put people off, and you're gonna lose your some of your audience. That's gonna happen. That is
And
a
I think this goes back to like my weird thing of separating the Pun Hit Wonder and Nick.
yeah.
Like I like to separate those two because to me, the Pun Hit Wonder doesn't really have too many bad days. And Nick, I have my moment and my mindset can be garbage at times. But like when I put on the pun persona, the pun sona, Uh, it went like I kind of like I escape from Nick for however long I stream, and it feels good. You
Yeah.
know, it's a little escape for me, and like that's why I want to provide such a fun and awesome atmosphere because I want to for you guys come hang out and chat and just forget about stuff for a little bit. You know, whether engaging or just lurking, like that's what I want to provide because I'm providing that for myself. I want to provide that for you guys.
Yeah,
Um,
and I've said it a few times. Like coming into a stream, I'll come in and I'll be like, oh man, I don't want to do this. I just had a bad day at work or whatever. And then
yeah,
the moment the first person says, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, welcome to the party. Good to see you. How's it going?" Because it's like that for me. I have a very lucky. I don't know what it is, psyche, state of mind, something happens in me when I interact with someone. I a switch flips and I immediately light up. It's like a drug. You guys are my drug, and
yeah.
I get a high. I get a high off of interacting with
Honestly,
positive people.
same,
Yeah,
same.
and so anyway, that's the last thing I
I
had
just
to
don't
say
have
on
the
that.
crazy laugh. That's it.
I don't know
So
what you're talking about.
Dragon had a good question.
Go for it.
Uh, who was the first streamer to really give Drunkrat a leg up on spreading the word of his channel? So who gave you a really good shout out? I
That's
know
a
you
good
talked about
question.
Poxers kind of being
Well, I
uh
mean, I this is Poxers was a good inspiration, but he didn't really like he pretty much shouts everyone out, and what that leads to, unfortunately, is that you start ignoring
shout
it.
outs don't me, yeah.
And like if he shouts out every other person comes in his stream, which he doesn't necessarily do. He's a great streamer himself, and he's very generous. But what shouting every person out, like I'll come into his stream every once in a while, I'll say hey, and he'll be like, oh man, everyone check out this drunk rat guy. And he'll say some really nice things. He'll say some nice things, and like 5 people in his party will shout me out, and that's really cool. But like then someone else will come in and say hi,
It's
and
watered down.
hey, look at this person, go check out this out. And so yeah, exactly. It doesn't. People stop paying attention to it, and they just they don't worry about it. For me, this is gonna sound really selfish, but I'm gonna say I like no one until like really later on. Like I didn't really start getting the big raids and shout outs and stuff until um probably when we already had like 1,500 people in our community, maybe a little bit before that. But the biggest thing that brought people in for me was grinding away at playing Overwatch and doing the voice impressions and the reason why it took, oh god, it was I have such a bad problem here. I use that as a way to promote my channel, but then I cannot promote my channel. I do not like putting my name out there. So I basically use the fact that my name is similar to my name in Twitch, and I try to make them so happy that they will spend that moment to go look to Twitch and find me. And it's doing that for 2.5 years. Like it sucks because like the first time that ever happened was I streamed with a guy named Bear. I just happened to be in one of his games, and I was doing the accent. And he went, oh my god, this guy's crazy, what the hell's going on? And he had 40,000 followers, and he had like 50 people watching him at the time. And he went and searched me up on Twitch, and he couldn't find me. And he searched me up under different names on Twitch. He couldn't find me. And so that was when I moved. That was one of the reasons that I moved over to Twitch from YouTube, because of that, and also YouTube changing the rules. But like, see you later, Pricey. You have a good night. I just like I just spent so many hours playing the game and trying to entertain people, and over time, like Vile Vixen said that she met me in a game. Discord Melody found me through YouTube, just searching for people who sounded like Junkrat. And a lot of my other mods and friends that I found have found me through those kinds of ways. And it's just about putting yourself out there as much as you can. And I initially tried a lot of things like follow for follow, not follow for follow. I did that pissed me off when I saw people doing that, because I was like, you're never gonna watch me. I'm never gonna watch you. Why are we doing this? I mean, if you're following someone without any inkling of what their content is, that's not. I mean, like if you do something where you say, "Hey, can I come check out your channel and give you advice as to what may make it better?" And they go, "Yeah, let's do it." And then you go watch their channel, you give them some advice, you actually spend time there. they may hopefully say the same thing, like, hey, can I check out your channel and see, do the same thing, and they follow if they like it. um but putting yourself out there and not going in on other people's channels and advertising yourself, trying not to spam people, but just like putting your content out there for free is the best way to get people to want to. It's like putting a lure out there, and then when they get hooked by that, you have to show them that you're worth staying. And I'm not saying that I'm worth staying. I'm just saying that I put a lot of time and effort into trying to be that. And so to answer your question, I don't really like, we've had one or two people who had massive raids, like Frost Prime. Poxers did a couple of good raids, but I don't think it was like something that started me down a path or anything. I don't think any you have to push you're pushing a boulder up a mountain the whole time, and it gets really frustrating and disheartening at times, but you got to push through it. So I'm looking straight at the camera as if people can see me.
I've done it a couple times, and I'm like, shit. I turned my camera off. I moved my loot a while ago because the lights were getting bright. So I've kind of had a different experience in that. When I first started streaming, it's Felgoth helped me out a lot. Just because it's like, hey, he and I worked pretty well off together. So I love his community helped me out at this. Let's see, I had my two Overwatch discords that helped me out quite a bit too. Um, who kind of like like I was entertaining a big mod for both the discords. So like they were like, hey, I was streaming a lot of Overwatch back in the day too before I moved to Final Fantasy 10, and they were still intrigued. Besides the Blitzball streams, that's a whole
Yeah.
different story. Because I just love Blitzball. It's a very unpopular opinion, but I love Blitzball. Um, so it's just like so I've gotten a good amount of help, but at the same time, like I still have people that come in for every stream, and the games that I play have attracted more attention than the help that I've gotten. Uh, and it's been awesome. Like it's still good to have a base of people coming in to help and hang out and relax. But like it's good to get them on your own, get people on your own, through the games you play or through entertaining enough, and come in every now and again because people have lives. Like they can't come in for every single stream, but if they can come in every now and again, it's awesome to see a name. Like Phoenix Affinity, I haven't seen them in a hot minute. They're I see them in Discord because we talk about Phoenix, right?
Hmm.
You know, but it's just like it's good to see names every now and again because people have lives. People, there's so many other streamers out there. Go support your favorite streamers. We're some of your favorites. That's awesome. You guys support us, but make sure give some love all around because we're about growing as a whole. You know, and that's why I like rating and like collabing because I want to help people. I want to help people grow
Yeah,
because I've
yeah.
gotten a lot of help myself. Especially you. By the way, let me answer this question real quick. The person who's helped me out the most is probably you. You've helped me out the most. Just
I
come.
would say Fell. I would say Fell probably first
He
because
helped me out at the well. He's helped me out at the very beginning, and he and I have still done a lot. I've helped him out a lot now, um,
Mhm.
because we he plays different enough games, but they're all really RPGs. So I'm like, hey, let's try out this random game, and he's like, hey, I found a game that you and I can play, or Blade on we'll help Blade join in on Saturdays too. So like I think that I helped you out with that too in a way, of kind of
Yeah.
getting you off the Overwatch train. Like I'm just a big guy on variety. You can get a bunch of different people and introduce a lot of people to a lot of new games, like for the King or Fantasy Star or even Phoenix Wright, even Final Fantasy. Like I'm playing a lot of new games for the first time, and a lot of people are playing the games because of that, and I kind of like doing that. So, but you've helped me out the most because I've got a lot of people from the hideout to come in and hang out, chat, and not just whenever you and I collab, but like other times too. And that's really helped me out a lot,
That's one of the things that
because they're super goddamn positive and it's amazing.
that's one of the things
And
that
like,
really warms my heart is when if I go in and lurk on someone's channel and I see like Dragon or Kuratsu or Discord Melody or other of the people who I typically associate with the hideout,
Yeah.
actually there and just interacting without any prompting. Like I didn't go into the
Yeah,
hideout and say
you didn't say hi. You just lurk. You just see
that.
who's there. It's
Yeah,
great. I love doing
like
that too.
yeah, it's so. But what I mean is like without any prompting. There was no one put anything in promotions. They followed and they truly want to be there. That is so cool. I'm like, oh man, this community.
Like yeah, this makes it great. Well, everyone's positive. Oh, that's a whole story. Uh, love you,
Yeah.
Val.
But I
She's
had
hanging out in chat.
she's awesome. We actually were chatting for a good like hour or two before we came on here.
Oh, was that when I was taking it out?
I think so. Yeah, it was cool. I wanted to talk about two things. One is the helping out other communities, and two is the being stuck on Overwatch. Okay, being stuck on. I want to say that first. I had a lot of anxiety not playing Overwatch, and the reason why I had two reasons for that. One is I was worried that change would cause people to stop being there because the community is growing, people are being there and hanging out and being interacting. They seem to enjoy Overwatch. They comment on how we're playing and stuff like that, and I can just. It's also a game I really don't have to pay attention to that much because I'm not playing competitive. So I can just mess around and chat with chat, and I can spend most of my energy on chat.
You can blow up a shield and you can blow up a bot.
Yeah. Hell yes. You can trap a nano blade and peel for heals.
Yeah.
But all of that, I really there were reasons why I didn't want to leave because I felt like if I stopped doing what I was doing, a lot of the momentum this community was having would peter out. Secondly, that was actually one of my main ways of growing the community is meeting people in game. Like most of the people that I've met were through Overwatch. Most of the people who followed were through Overwatch, and I feel like playing other games, I don't have that avenue of bringing in more people into the community. But after going to a few different games, I've learned two things. One, people will stick around and play and enjoy, and as long as I keep interacting with chat, which I need to play certain games. I can't play certain games, interact with chat. I can't play Warzone every night because it's so involved. I have to be focusing on. But as long as I keep interacting with chat and as long as I be who I am, people stick around and that really does a lot for my self-confidence. Never mind. The second thing is there's been a lot of people who came in either through referring friends, which I gotta say, guys, referring friends or spreading the word of a channel that you really enjoy, that's the biggest thing that's the biggest way to help a community grow. And I've had some people come in and say, I'm here because of this person, and that's another thing that just, oh god, that is like the warmest feeling in my heart because I'm like, oh my god, someone was happy enough here that they actually like wanted to share, and oh my god, that's amazing. But so that's been one of the reasons why I can play other games is because I no longer rely on Overwatch specifically as a way to grow the community. The community, actually, you guys are building it yourselves, and that's why I say you guys are the community, and that you guys are the reason why people are here, and that makes me so proud to be part of it.
We're just two dumb guys in front of a camera playing some weird games. You guys make it. We do our part, but you guys do a lot more in our community. Like without you guys, like we ourselves.
Yeah.
And you
there, Pun?
Yeah, I dropped for a second.
Okay.
No, I dropped a frame or two. No, like you guys keep us going and you keep us, oh my god, dropping.
I need to play some Binding of Isaac.
So, like we do what we can and, but you guys keep us going. Without you guys, we're just a couple of dudes. So.
And I wanted to reveal a little bit of a secret behind the whole rating other smaller streams and not necessarily smaller streams, but streamers that aren't having as much energy in their stream at the moment and stuff like that, and trying to connect with these other communities and build our network. The reason why I do that, like there's multiple reasons, and if I didn't have multiple reasons, I might not do it. But one of the primary reasons is because it's kind of a selfish reason where I want to build this community, and you can't stand alone. Like this community is great, but there's so many amazing communities out there, and if we link arms and stand together, we stand taller for it. So helping another community to reinvigorate, or helping another streamer to grow, I feel like I know some streamers don't like rating people because they feel like they're gonna lose followers to that person, and or they don't want to put the spotlight on someone else. But I feel like it's sort of a way to help in the future. If I can help a streamer who's may not be that visible right now, if I can help them get some more visibility, and I see them and I see that they're very entertaining and will have a very high potential to grow, then maybe we can help them start a little bit faster, and then as they grow, I think I'm pretty sure I'm very positive about this actually, that Papa, Pun, and Despaz are some people that I know are going to grow past me by a long shot. And it's going to happen. It's just in the future. Like, it may not be happening right now, but it's going to happen. Because you guys all have amazing drive. You have amazing personalities. And you have such good content.
You're selling yourself short, though.
But regardless, I think the best... This is... I'm betting on the future. I am spending time and effort building these relationships with these communities that I find a lot of value in, because I believe that in the future I'll be able to, be a part of the community that they are building. Their growth is going to help our community. And it's kind of a selfish way, but like, I do it for positive reasons too, but that's sort of the future aspect of I really want to grow this community, and I think that if I can invest in these communities that I think will grow way faster than me and way bigger than me and way more impactful than me, I really do think that that'll help our community in the future. Again, I'm looking at the webcam if you don't
know. I love it. No, I mean, it's just, but you have a lot to offer as well. Like, we all have, as streamers, we all have something to offer. And what we offer is what you guys keep coming back, or you guys drop a follow because of what we're offering. And yeah, I know. Hey, jerk, stop it. Here, come here, fatty. Come on.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's being a jerk. No, it's just like, so if you let us know too, like, we're always down for criticism, good, bad, indifferent, ugly. Like, let us know if we're doing a good job or doing a bad job, but you also do that with your views, with how much you interact, both in the Discord and in Twitch chat too. Let us know. Like, we're always down to we're always down to take some. I'm down to take criticism.
Yeah,
like, I always want to become better. I always want to see too, and like, I go back and I don't watch the full VOD, but I will go back and I'll go watch part of my VOD just to make sure I'm entertaining. If I can't entertain myself, then how am I going to entertain other people?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So Lena has a good question, just real quick. Do you think YouTube is a good idea to use? I don't think so. Just with everything that goes on.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? You cut out at the end.
So Lena asked, "Do you think YouTube is a good idea to use, like, besides Twitch?"
So what does that mean?
I think as a partner piece, or yeah,
like you can't multi-stream, because if you're a affiliate in Twitch, that's actually one of the things you sign up is you will not show your content that you show live here. You won't show it anywhere else for at least 24 hours. That's one of the requirements. So that's why multi-streaming is out of the question, unfortunately. Now to be fair, you could probably do it. No, like, especially down here at our level, we're unlikely to be noticed by the Twitch cops. Woo! But it's sort of like, for me, I really do hope that our community grows to be a very high impact community one day, and I don't want to do anything that could be found out later and cause a scandal or cause a problem. Like, I've seen too many actors, actresses, politicians, and other people in the spotlight get taken down by something they did 30 years ago, and I don't want to create any of that. So if you yeah, good.
Continue. Sorry.
No, that was it.
So Lena says no. Like, just put, so basically, like, you, yeah. So using Twitch and YouTube as both as two different things, but using them under one brand.
Despo is actually doing that, and I think that that's a really good idea if you have the time and energy to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
like video editing takes a lot of work. Like streaming, like yeah, you put in some work, but most of the time you're just pressing that start streaming button, and you're in front of the camera, and you're putting all the work there, and then once you're done, you're like okay, go to bed,
that's what.
or do whatever, But like video editing takes a lot of time.
Yeah, no, I used to spend 20 hours a week on creating 20 minutes of content out of like 4 hours of raw footage. I have a couple of videos that got like, I'm very impressed with myself. I got 8,000 views on YouTube, and those were like 2.5, 3 years ago when I was on YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I really like doing this podcast, because I feel like I'm gonna straight up put this out on YouTube afterwards.
I'm down.
And I think that like I kind of want to make this into a series that I can start putting out YouTube content again. I don't have to spend time editing it. One of the biggest things, like
Raw,
Despot's
cut, uncensored.
oof, yes. Despot's is actually paying some editors to go through and edit content, and I've seen a few of his videos. They're really good. I tried paying someone about $100 for 4 videos a month, and the people that I had editing, I stopped getting any kind of contact from them, so that sort of fell through.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, it happened. So it was something I was trying. That's one of the things about being a streamer, is a lot of things you experiment with a lot of things, and they're not always going to work. So
I have a self question from Dragon that it doesn't really pertain to you; it pertains to me.
go for it.
So he asked some streamers like utilizing their. I do want your input as well. Some streamers like utilizing their pets as a hook to get people to follow their stream. I'm assuming you don't like that concept, but did you ever consider that? So I think so. What you're trying to ask is like, so I have a couple streamers that I follow that use their pets, and their pets are on all the time. And yes, I have Goku come in every now and again, but that's not the biggest pull of my channel. Um, it's kind of like the physicality streamer. You're gonna get the audience for the content that you put out. Like some people, whenever Goku comes around, it's awesome. It's good for him to show up and chat, and people enjoy seeing Goku. And I got an email for him, but like I don't have Goku on all the time. I see some people streamers that have animals on all the time. And like like I said, if that's the content they want to put out, they're gonna put it out. They're gonna have the audience that's gonna come in for that. It is what it is. Um,
What I'm getting from this is I need a roadie cam 24/7. Just a stream that's constantly. And I'm not going to stream anymore. It's just going to be 24 hours a day,
roadie.
7 days a week of roadie. Get on a chair. I think that will be way more entertaining content.
I would follow for that. I would follow.
But yeah, I've seen people, they will literally go out and buy a couple of bunny rabbits, put them in a cage, put a camera right in front of it, and just have it live stream 24/7, and they will get so many people watching. And that's cool. I mean, that's actually pretty outside of the box. No pun intended, outside the cage. The biggest pool is the puns and puns naked arms. Yeah, yep. Yeah, man. We've covered a lot of topics here today.
I've had a blast,
dude. I have as well. This has been really entertaining and really interesting. Learning the behind the green screen of the ThePunHitWonder.
Well, we've learned a lot about you as well. That's kind of one of I want. I know you wanted to base this episode off of me, but I also wanted to learn a little bit about you, and why not kill a couple birds with one stone and get a little bit behind DrunkCast green screen.
I gotta save some of that for the future.
Yeah, of course. I got a little bit. As these episodes go on, we'll get more and more. We'll get a big supercut of just behind Dan's green screen of all the things you've said in each of the episodes. So I'm glad you.
Oh, this was awesome.
With this idea.
Well, I gotta say, like, I initially had the idea for the concept, but ThePunHitWonder is who like pushed me to do it and got me to do it. That happens a lot, actually. Like, I wanted to do a charity stream for the longest time, and Papa Zillion really like got me to do it in under a day. He got me everything set up, and you sort of lit a fire into my butt because I wanted to do this for a long time, and then you're like, okay, yep, we'll do it, and then this Thursday, yep, I'm in. Hey, Telly, what's up, bud? As a side note, I got a really good pun from Dragon. He says, "Why did Drunkrat draw a face on his hand? Because he told a joke so bad he needed a face palm." But I would say, if you draw a face on your hand and then you high five, is it a face palm?
Huh.
Asking the real questions.
The real question.
But I think do we have anything else? Because I think
I was gonna say, are there any more questions? I mean, I'm content with it. We went for a good almost 3 hours and plus our half hour beforehand.
Yeah,
any other questions from chat?
I think we're doing
good. And I mean,
now.
this won't be the last time. I'm sure. Once Drunkrat's got a couple other people. I'm gonna help him out, and I'm always down to do this again. Even if it's just a mini episode where we talk for a little bit and then we can play a game together or something.
Yeah, no, and honestly, this was a really great concept, but I really do want to do this. I'm going to be doing this more going forward. A couple of I'm going to try to do it once a week, might be once every 2 weeks, but I really
once every 2 weeks sounds good. You don't want to do overkill either.
Well, no, because I want to make it into more of a staple where I really do want to bring on a streamer and do a behind the green screen, which I'm gonna. Is it okay if I steal that from you? Because that was totally pun came up with that behind the green screen for.
Hey, you can here's the thing. I can make the promo poster every week and just change.
Well, no, you don't have to necessarily do that. I'm just gonna try to make it into my normal schedule. I need to start being I need to start promoting in general.
Well, no, use the promo poster that I made. Put the name of the streamer on that you're doing that week. And just go from there, like have that, or we can touch it up a little bit. Siri, yes, Siri only follows for Goku.
I'll talk to you later because I actually have a good idea about that as a promo poster.
Okay. That's fine. No, I mean
using it as an end card actually. So yeah, we're gonna end this without an end card. I don't have a real end card and I don't have an outro for this yet, but this was really cool, man. I thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show.
That's been a blast. So yeah,
it's been an absolute blast. Yeah,
and cut. No. So tomorrow night, just jacking it with myself, drunk and vile. Gonna hang out, drink a couple brewskis.
Yep. Tomorrow night is the Just Jacking It, Vile Vixen, PunHitWonder, and the Drunk Rat. We also got a interesting thing on Saturday. We're gonna have our giveaway for what the hell month is it? April. We're gonna have our April giveaway. It's gonna be we're gonna be giving away about 7 or 8 pieces of merch, a free game, maybe 2. One Overwatch and Vile's gonna get wasted. Awesome.
I'm down. I'm down. We need more burps for the counter.
And then yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff coming up this coming weekend. It's gonna be great.
So I think Fellow Blade and I are going back into For the King Saturday night, and then
yes,
of course. So no, I mean I've had a blast. Chat. Hopefully you guys have had a good. I really enjoyed this. It was I'm always down to have good conversations like this. Like I know I'm the PunHitWonder. He's Drunk Rat, but as Nick and Dan, like we like to have intellectual conversations as much as we're entertainers.
Intellectual
bad jokes. we like to have deep and philosophical, not intellectual, conversations, and like this is really fun to talk about. I always like to have good conversations, and on Sundays for Stage Sunday, I like to be a bit than pun, and all these conversations are a good time. And whatever's going on in the news or whatever's going on in life, I like to talk about. It's just I'd rather have more fun and entertain and be pun, but it's good to kind of bring down that punsona a bit and just shoot the shit because we're people too, and you guys are people, and we're all people just trying to make it day by day. So if we're gonna have good conversations as well as entertain you guys, we're killing a couple birds with one stone. Unless Goku's here, then Siri's here. I almost asked Goku to show the camera, but goddamn.
All right, man. This has been an absolute blast. Thanks for hanging out, and I think we're gonna go ahead and end it here.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone, thank you all for hanging out. It's been a pleasure. You guys know what we're gonna be doing. Remember, type in ! multi. Go over to Pun's channel, check him out. Drop a follow.
! Pun. And the ! That
doesn't work right now, unfortunately. ! Pun is actually
Broken.
down because of sound commands. I had turned off all sound commands so we wouldn't interrupt our chat. But yeah, check out that multi. Go check out the pun. He is an absolute angel of a human being. He is hilarious. He is just goddamn entertaining. Highly recommended.
Guys, in my chat, go check out DrunkCast if you haven't. Please, he's a great time. You've heard him all night if you've been here, and if you can't get entertainment from this guy, then I don't know what you're watching. So.
Raid pun. Oh, I think we're gonna. Yeah, we could raid someone. We could raid someone. I didn't even consider raiding. With this.
I mean, I was okay with just I was okay with not doing it. But it's up to you. You're the leader of the show, so.
Oh, as a side note, I just want to throw this out. As a side note, thank you all. We've actually just hit 1999, which was an amazing year. Followers. Nice. Thank you guys. So I already showed my apartment, so we're no longer doing the 2000. I'm just kidding. Anyway. It's been a pleasure. You guys are awesome. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it. I don't know if we're gonna do any raid. I'm gonna be working on putting this out onto YouTube.
I'm good with just ending. Honestly.
Yeah.
We just spent enough. It's good to just hang out and chill, and I'm good with that. So.
Alrighty.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow night for just jacking it. So.
Yep, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna be popping in here and with our various choices of liquor.
We'll be popping some more than just corn kernels, that's for sure.
All right, it's been a pleasure, guys. Until next time, Alveda saying, and good night.